Okay, welcome back, folks, from wherever you're watching around the world, and skiers and athletes, and parents and spectators here live on site. We're about to get underway with men's jump C2 here from Putrajaya, and of course we've got C2 then seed 1, so essentially we've got the biggest 25 jumpers in the world about to go. Conditions are pretty good. We've got definitely a headish breeze. Sometimes it's got a bit of a head cross to it, but it's definitely kind of blowing from the right quarter. And we're going to start off, we're going to have Alex King from New Zealand up first. So welcome along, folks. I've got Grant Barnett in to join me in commentary. And Grant, things look pretty good out there.
Beautiful conditions, Glenn, as we wait for Alex King to come in on his first jump. Alex from Hokitika on the west coast of New Zealand, of course, resides in Munro in Louisiana in the United States. Personal best jump is 61.9 metres. And of course, unfortunately for Alex, he spent the last few days searching around for his skis that didn't turn up. So,
yeah, if you want to know anything about the layout of Kuala Lumpur Airport, ask Alex King, because he spent hours and hours there the first few days he was in Kuala Lumpur.
Yep, but our first jumper is on the water. It's going to be Alex King from New Zealand. As we said, a personal best of 61.9 metres, in good company as far as his coaches goes, Glenn, with Jack Travers.
Absolutely.
One of the most famous names in jump coaching around the world, or if not the famous name
Yeah,
in jump coaching.
He's been going at Sunset Lakes and Jack Travis's ski school probably since he was 15, 16 years of age. He now works there the last few years as a driver / coach. So he skis and trains with the best. Personal best of 61.9. Been a while though since he's jumped that far. He has been over. He had a big jump at Moomba actually. I'm just trying to remember. I think it was just a shade under 60. 59.7 I'm going to say at Moomba in the elimination round. In fact, he ended up making it into the final at Moomba because we missed the semi-final, if you remember, with the issues with the course there. So here he is, Alex King now. Jump number 1, the Kiwi, pulls out wide on the towboat.
Yeah, nice looking set up for Alex on his first. Edges into the base of the ramp and decides to let that one go. Maybe not feeling quite right. The wind is coming across the top left corner of the ramp, so a slight cross headwind. Quite ideal conditions, so a pass on the first one for Alex King. I'm not sure if he's actually even been over this ramp yet, Glenn, without having his skis here over the last 5 or 6 days. Probably unlikely, but let's hope he can find his feet and get one here on the second.
So this is interesting. The boat's taking him back to the dock, so we must have some sort of a technical problem here. Nothing that Alex has done wrong, but oh no, we're just going that way, are we? When we pass a jump, is that a new thing, or I don't think we did that in the previous rounds?
Well, Cadito's certainly making sure the conditions are absolutely identical for all of these athletes, as he has done through slalom and tricks, so maybe that's got something to do with the consistency of the boat path here. Put your hands together, folks. Come on, Kiwis, get behind your man. Of course, early evening back in New Zealand.
Time.
Perfect. You're probably with a glass of a wine or red or whatever it might be back there watching
New Zealand
Alex.
red or I don't know, Spates Gold or something like that, or a Lion Red or a Steinlager, depending on what you drink. You got a choice between watching a bit of Mitre 10 rugby. I think Wellington playing Hawke's Bay tonight, or of course I wouldn't be watching that. I'd be watching Alex King jump right now. Now, Alex is a bit of a confidence jumper, Grant. I'm a little concerned about this set for him because obviously no ski gear to train. He'll be looking, it's a bit of a foreign sight to him. He's passed on his first one and I couldn't see a lot wrong with his approach. I'm not sure why he passed. And I think he was a little disappointed in himself for passing. So hopefully he can just push. He's somehow got to push all that aside and just get focused here and get over this jump ramp.
Yep, he certainly does. Alex King from New Zealand coming in for jump number 2. Pass on the first. He pulls out nice and wide. Ideal conditions here in Putrajaya, as it has been for all of the jumpers over the past 3 or 4 days. And again, a nice looking setup here for Alex. Let's see if we can get one on the board here on the second. Alex King from New Zealand powers into the bottom, up off the top, and come on, stand up and get one on the board, and he certainly does. Waves the hand and says, probably not that happy, but just happy to get over this one, Glenn. He has got one jump to come, so let's hope he can.
Yeah, well, he needed to take one because he hadn't been over the jump ramp yet. This will be probably around 47 or 48, I think. It's not huge for Alex, but it is a score on the board.
Yep, powers into the bottom there, on his heels off the top, so not a lot of pull there. And we'll wait for the distance there for Alex King on his second jump. Of course, had a pass on his first. Next skier off the dock will be Harry Spaven from Great Britain.
48.1 opening jump for Alex King. Not what he was looking for. In fact, so far Alex is the last jumper for the Kiwis at these Worlds, and they haven't actually had the greatest Worlds in the jump event, I've got to say, Grant. And I know a lot of your guys, Australian guys, are still to go, but you have had Sadie Ferguson jump really well. But the Donaldson boys were below par. They were jumped around 47, 48 metres. Tony Atkinson, 36 odd metres. So we've been just down a little bit. The last hope is Alex King to try and get us a big score. He's just got to get in the course here and get confident, get fired up, and he needed one over, which I hope should have been the first one, I guess, but it didn't happen. But he has gone over the ramp now, so it all comes down to this third and final, Grant. He's got to have a go here.
He certainly does, Glenn. Third and final chance at the 2019 IWWF World Waterski Championships. This is Open Men's Series 2 jump. Alex King, third and final, edges all the way into the bottom, powers in, and he's let that one go as well. And that's disaster for Alex. He's going to be very disappointed. Of course, not an ideal preparation without any skis here for the last 5 or 6 days.
You
So
know, and
that's
I think
really unfortunate for Alex. So he's going to have a longest distance of 48.1 metres.
yeah, he's just down on confidence because he didn't have a ski gear here and not enough time on site. He's past that, and I'm not sure he needed to. I mean, maybe he didn't feel quite comfortable, but I think if he had a few training sets and a bit of time on the ramp, I think he would take that one, to be fair. And he looked a little disappointed in himself for passing. So unfortunately for Alex, with the missing skis, the prep just wasn't there. And it's a little bit disappointing there for Alex, of course, and Team New Zealand.
Of course, that will bring on our next skier, Harry Spaven from Great Britain. Ten jumpers in this field for Series 2 men's jump. It does seem like we're going to be able to get through both the Series 2 men and Series 1 today, Glenn. We still obviously have the conclusion of the Series 1 women's jump. We're still not quite sure what will happen to that. Maybe it'll be pushed through till tomorrow.
Actually,
very likely.
I think the talk is now that, it will happen tomorrow, and the ladies' jump final, which was scheduled for tomorrow afternoon, will now happen Sunday.
So the men's and women's look likely
will go
to
one
be
after,
together.
Which is probably a better event anyway. But imagine that.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
So Sunday we would have men's slalom, women's tricks, women's jump, men's jump. Sounds like a pretty good last day of at Worlds to me.
It sure does. Looking at the profile here for Harry Spaven from Great Britain. Born in Lincolnshire in Great Britain, has a longest jump of 61.3 metres. We've seen 7 or 8 personal bests over the first 3 or 4 days competition in the jump event, so there's no reason why Harry can't come out and poke one out there today, Glenn.
Absolutely. Solid 3-event skier, Harry Spaven. Spends his time, as you said, in Lafayette, the University of Louisiana, ULL, I think it goes as. And jump number 1 for Harry Spaven.
All right, edges the wall in the bay at the bottom, and also a pass on his first, so the guy's not feeling too comfortable on their first jump so far. Our driver today, Les Todd, highly experienced, a real veteran in the ski nautique is Les. Spins back around, and he will pick Harry up and come in for his second jump. So leader so far, Alex King has 48.1 metres on the board. Of course, he will not be happy with that, Glenn. It was a disappointing jump for Alex, but he's had a difficult few days without his skis here, and unfortunate mishap there getting him here.
He's got the skiing, he's going to have to move on and just enjoy his time here in Malaysia, enjoy the experience. So Harry Spaven passes on jump 1. Shout out to Cammy the Cannonball Evans, one of New Zealand's former world representatives, just letting us know that he's enjoying a few line reds tonight watching the jumping, so great to see. Cammy the Cannonball Evans there back home in New Zealand.
Yep, and good morning, good afternoon and good evening to everyone who's logged into the live stream from World Waterskiers here from Putrajaya in Malaysia. It's just gone past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're in Open Men's Series 2 Jump. This is our second competitor. 10 competitors in all in Series 2 Jump, and then we move into Series 1 with 13 competitors, and that should round out Friday here before we start to move into finals on Saturday and Sunday. And as we said, probably likely to see the conclusion of Series 1 Women's Jump sometime on Saturday. All right, Harry Spaven from Great Britain coming in for jump number 2, a pass on the first. Let's see what Harry's got here on the second. Edges all the way in, up off the top, and that's some nice lift.
It is.
And a nice jump there for Harry. Not sure whether he's been over the ramp here in Putrajaya yet, but got his legs there, Glenn, and looks a nice little distance there, probably up around 51 or 52 metres. We'll wait for the distance.
Yeah, watch him here. He seems to be pretty decent drive into the bottom of the ramp. Maybe stands up a little early. Upper body crush though, which means he doesn't get everything he could have out of the jump ramp. 48 metres. 48 metres, so not quite as far as he would like. Not getting big distance so far out of these boys.
Yep, 48 metres for Harry Spaven on his second jump. So, of course, our leader so far from a couple of days ago, 63.7 is the lead, and that was a personal best. And we had 3 or 4 personal bests that day, and also a number with our women's jumpers as well. So there's absolutely no reason why the guys come out here this afternoon and put some huge distances on the board. As Harry turns around at the northern end to come back in.
His personal best 61.3, so he won't be happy if he finishes up with 48 metres. He'll be looking to get a lot more out of this jump ramp.
All right, here he comes in. Harry Spaven from Great Britain, third and final jump. Pass on the first, 48 metres on the second. Let's see if we can get up in the high 50s on his third and final jump. Come on, Harry. Up we go. That's a much better lift off the top. And a much better jump from Harry on that third one. Not quite sure it's going to be high 50s, but certainly well over 50 metres.
It looks around 52 to me, if I had to guess. I just think the wind at the moment's coming a little bit crosswind, maybe not headwind right now, which has just obviously affected these first couple of jumpers here. Not going quite as far as they would normally.
So pass on the first, 48 metres on the second. We'll wait for distance on the third jump.
Super excited to see this next competitor, of course, Ukrainian, Danilo Felchenko. Now, if anyone remembers back to the LCQ, the last chance qualifier at Jack Travis's Sunset Lake just before the US Masters, this young man, of course, got a PB. I think it was around almost 70 metres actually. Was it 69.7 metres? We'll bring that up soon, but he had a PB going into it of about 64. Yep. Finished up with almost a 70-metre PB.
So we had a distance through for Harry's third and final jump, 52.5 metres, 52.5 for Harry Spaven's third and final jump. That puts him into the lead in Series 2 men's jump as we bring on Danilo Felchenko from the Ukraine.
And of course, Danilo Felchenko is leading the trick event at the moment with 11,600 points, which was a new Ukrainian trick record scored. It was obviously a personal best for him. So he's leading the tricks. A contender for the overall if he can, if he can jump up close to what he did at Sunset Lakes that day, then he would definitely be a contender for the overall. Of course, I think from memory, we'll get it up in a minute, But yeah, from memory, it was about 69.7 metres that day in LCQ. It was huge, PB by about 5 metres. Of course, then figured we'd see him at the Masters the next weekend, but because at the Masters you have to jump off 1.8 and he didn't get enough time training, he's still off the 1.65. He didn't actually ski those Masters, but he is an absolute sensation. Almost took out under 21 overall in Canada 6 weeks ago at the under 21 Worlds, but just pipped to the post by a sensational performance by Joel Poland. Here we go, Danilo Felchenko from the Ukraine. Big jump number one. Oh, right on that 60-metre mark to jump, but he's not happy. Look at him. He's upset with what I thought looked to be around a 60-metre effort on jump one.
Yeah, great opening jump from Danilo Felchenko from the Ukraine. Wait for a distance, has a personal best of 69.3 metres. So we can certainly put them out there. Let's see what the first distance comes through. Nice kind of setup. Lets the arms out. Power goes down as we watch the replay on World Water Skiers. And right on the bottom corner there, up off the top.
59.1. 59.1.
So great opening jump. Whoa, nearly went out the front too over the skis on the landing there. Stand-up landing. The 59.1 metres on his first jump. Danilo Felchenko from the Ukraine.
Obviously feels like he missed out somewhere there. He didn't quite get his lift, or something not quite right there, because he was upset with himself, but not a bad opening jump. Remember, the mark at the moment to get into the final looks to be better than that 63.7 that we have from Louis Duplon Freiburg, of course, from France, a 63.7. Seems like an age ago, 2 days ago that was. That is the mark at the moment to get into the final. Here we go. Jump number 2, personal best, 69.3 metres. Sprays the 600 football. Good strong pull out. He's 11,500 point tricker, 69 metre jumper. World class overall skier, this young athlete. Into the ramp he goes. Big kick off the top. That looks further, does it?
Great jump.
Really good jump.
Great second jump. Danielo Felchenko from the UK, and that is certainly up over 60 metres.
Yeah, it's further grunt, but it's probably still not enough to make the final, I don't think. Let's see as we analyse this.
Power through the wakes here. He's got great form off the top of the ramp and lots of float here as well. Right on the bottom right-hand corner. Loaded up off the top. And pushes out, right out over the front of his skis. Great air from Danielo Filchenko from the Ukraine. We'll wait for a distance to come through.
Sorry, it was 60, I think no, have we heard the distance?
59.1 on the first.
59.1 was the first.
And 60.4 metres on the second.
60.4. Well, it's so hard to know how far he's got to go, but we do know that we have a 63.7 and a 60.1 from 2 days ago in Series 3. Normally, to make a open jump final here at a World's Jump Final, you would think you'd have to go sort of around that 64 metre mark. It's not quite so sure here. The conditions right now maybe not quite as good as the Series 3 guys had. That they had a headwind. This is trying to be a headwind, but it's probably more of a head crosswind at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is, Glenn, as Danielo comes in for his third and final. 59.1 on the first, 60.4 on the second. Let's see if we can get him up over 65 metres on the third and final. He's got a personal best of 69.3. Up and over, and on his heels in the last. So 60.4 will be his best result of the day.
Yeah, he's disappointed, isn't he? The Ukrainian athlete missed his kick on that one. He's going to have to live with 60.4 as his best distance.
Just a recap of the scores so far. Leader now, Danielo has 60.4. Moving back then to Harry Spaven from Great Britain, 52.5. And Alex King from New Zealand, 48.1. Our next competitor from Sweden, Felix Blomqvist. And we'll bring up his profile on World Waterskis and take a look at exactly what he's achieved recently.
Well, this is interesting, Grant, because the chief judge is heading out in the towboat right now. The skier was being instructed, instructed not to put his skis on. So something is being checked here now by our chief judge, Candino. Not sure what's going on. We might run a quick ad here, Tom, I think, run some ads and come back to you once we know what's happening. But we've just got a pause in proceedings here while the chief judge goes out and has a look at a couple of things. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live at Putrajaya and we're on with our next skier now from Sweden. This is Felix Blomqvist out of Sweden. Personal best of 62.7 metres. Jump distances have been, fair to say, they've been down a little bit from our first three competitors. Alex King, you can't understand, he didn't have any ski gear. Harry Spavin, I don't quite know what happened out there, and then well, Danilo Felchenko, to be fair, he said that, of course, he had the 69 metre jump at Sunset Lakes and Jack Travis's. I don't think he's probably jumped that far again. He has been jumping the odd time around 64, 65, so he's not a million miles off that with a 60.4. But I just think conditions, although not dangerous or anything, are not quite the headwind that we had in Series 3 and 4. I think at the moment there's a little bit of a head cross, maybe just affecting the jumpers a wee bit.
All right, Felix Blomqvist from Sweden coming in for jump number 1. Leader so far, Danilo Felchenko from Ukraine at 60.4. Let's see what Felix has got here for jump number 1. Normally it only takes one guy to put a big one out there, Glenn, before things turn very, very quickly. Here goes Felix on jump number 1 and off on his heels on the first one. So 2 more to come for Felix. He is the 4th competitor of 10 athletes in Open Men's Series 2 jump, before we move into Open Men's Series 1 with 13 competitors. That will probably likely round out today. We haven't had the call yet whether we will bring the final of the conclusion of Series 1 women's jump, which was held up yesterday through those wild storms, Glenn, that we had. We had about 6 or 7 competitors to go. But a great day's action here in Putrajaya. Of course, we started out with the men's slalom this morning. A little bit of drama towards the end, Glenn, wasn't there, with that runoff with Nate Smith initially missing the gate, and then a protest was put in, and that was turned around. He went into a 3-way runoff and certainly made it through easily in the end into the final. And then, of course, we had a great women's trick preliminary round, Series 2 and 1. Some great tricking from the ladies, and then we've moved into men's Series 2 jump. So, as we said earlier, coming up around 4:20 in the afternoon here in Putrajaya.
Actually, that's reminded me, we'll just go back to those last couple of trick scores that we never got for you. The last 2 trickers, of course, were Anna Gay and Erica Lang. So we had Anna Gay scored 9,770, folks. That puts her in 2nd spot behind Neely Ross. Erica Lang, 8,850 points, which puts her in 4th. So the big upset, of course, the boil over was Regina Jacobs missing out on that women's trick final. But anyway, we'll go back live, Grant. Jump number 2 for Felix Blomqvist.
I've got to go after this. All right, Felix Blomqvist coming in for jump number 2. Oh, that's a better second jump for Felix. Still off his heels off the top and just riding that way away as well. So nice second jump for Felix. Still probably not what he's looking for.
Yeah, but it's getting there though, isn't it? Because he didn't get it all together, but he's still gone, I think he's gone mid-50s, maybe even 56 metres here on jump number 2. 56.3 metres. 56.3 metres for Felix Blomqvist. Mate, if you see anyone you think that can commentate jumps, send them up. Thanks. Good luck. Okay, we've got a 56.3 now for our Swedish competitor, Felix Blomqvist. Still leading, of course, Louis Deplat Freiburg from France with 63.7. That happened 2 days ago. Still our biggest jump. Second, of course, is Danilo Felchenko with 60.4. Typically, you require a 64, 65 metre jump to make the final. We'll just have to wait and see. But I tell you what, Louis Freiburg is starting to look pretty good with a 63.7 metre effort. Grant Barnett has left me. He's gone down. He's team manager, of course, for Australia, so he's spreading his time around. He's gone down to the start dock. He's got, of course, Josh Wallen, Australia's #1 male jumper here. He's coming up in a few skiers, so I guess he's just going down there to give his skier support. And here we go, back on the water. Felix Blomqvist of Sweden. More known for their slaloming, of course, the Swedes, but let's see how he goes. Jump number 3. He's got a 56.3 to his name. Does he go any further? That's bigger, I think. It's a little bit bigger, not a huge improvement. He might have got to 57, I think, on jump 3, but I'm not completely sure. I think Grant Barnett made a good point. Just need one of these guys to spank out a big jump, and it will change the whole tone of the jumping. Watch the replay here. Looks pretty strong through the wakes as he comes across to that jump ramp. He's really holding a strong edge into the bottom. Just not getting it together. Not probably in the right body position as he hits the ramp, the bottom of the ramp, to kick it properly. He looks good. He's gone high, but he's not really out over his skis, is he? 57 metres, so that will be his best. 57 flat. We now have our last competitor off the 5.5 foot ramp, the 1.65 metre ramp, and then we will be putting the ramp up to 1.8, because it is Rob Hazelwood, very famous name in the world of water skiing, very famous name, of course, in the jump event. If you grew up watching water skiing like I did in the early 80s, because you remember the great Mike Hazelwood. Yeah, as I say, out of a very famous family, Lincolnshire in England, at Hazelwood Lakes, of course. Very famous lake. A host of the Pro-Am, the Stokes Pro-Am there, of course, every year. And, of course, it's the most lucrative professional jump tournament in the world now, the Pro-Am. We watch Rob Hazelwood. Jump number 1. Personal best of 63.2 metres, 207 feet is his personal best. Still just 20 years of age. Great overall skier, very strong overall skier. Just missed out this morning on the men's slalom final. He scored 2 at 10.75. Needed 2.5 to get into that runoff. Here he comes, jump number 1. Back a bit on his heels. Solid opening jump, just a little bit over 50 though. Not the big opening score he was looking for. Gets a score on the board, gets something to build on. Robert Hazelwood from Great Britain. Shout out to the Hazelwoods watching, I'm sure, the webcast over there in England. Enjoying the event. Still waiting on the distance to come through. Just looking to the shore for some coaching. .50.8, 50.8 opening distance for Rob Hazelwood. As we watch 2019 IWWF World Waterski Champs, proudly brought to you by the city of Putrajaya. Nautic Towboats, of course. This webcast has been brought to you by Waterskiers, worldwaterskiers.com. And make sure you check out the website. A little bit choppy, you can see where they make their turn, where the boat turns around down at the northern end, but it does improve as they get closer to the jump ramp. Skis chattering around a little bit here. Let's see how it goes. Rob Hazelwood. Quite a bit earlier actually, and then the first couple of skiers on his pull-out. Looks like he's got it under control here. Jump number 2, Rob Hazelwood into the ramp he goes. Oh, he misses his kick though. Yeah, and we'll forget about that one, Rob. I think it's a disappointing jump, somewhere in the mid-40s, I think, for Rob Hazelwood. 43.8. there for Robert Hazelwood out of Lincolnshire in England. He's got some work to do here. He's got his best, of course, is 50.8 so far. Not enough. He needs close to his PB, really. Well, at least probably more than a PB to make the final. But he, of course, is in the overall race as well. Solid 3-event skier. So there's a lot riding on this. There's Team Great Britain points. There's his own overall race. Even if he doesn't make the final, the difference between if he can get a 58 or 59 metre jump, you know, it's huge. It's much better, obviously, than 50.8 for his overall and his team points. So he will be disappointed with his score so far, but he's got one jump to come. One last time. He's going to roll the dice. Pulls out wide on that Nautic towboat. See the 600 foot ball there. Seems to be quite a bit earlier than the previous couple of jumpers, but on his counter cut. But he's obviously got a plan. Makes his turn for the jump ramp. Comes into the ramp. No, he's missed his legs again. Oh, he's going to be disappointed, Rob Hazelwood. I'm not quite sure what's happened out there, but that probably now puts him out of the running for the overall as well, although a long way to go. But he was an outside chance at the overall, probably ranked 7th or 8th in the world, and coming into this event. Just watch this replay of the jump. It's 46.8 metres. He's coming into the ramp probably with too much time, and he's leaning away with his shoulders. He's not quite over his skis, unable to get his lift. That's a little disappointing for Rob Hazelwood, I've got to say. So the ramp's going to go up now. The ramp is going to go up now for our next competitor. It is, of course, Jimmy Gion. We're going up to 1.8. So I mentioned earlier, of those listening to the webcast and on site, that at 4 p.m. today, we have the Best of Asia Awards over in the conference centre across the lake from us. It's kind of like the Academy Awards of Asian water skiing. And they're having it right now as we speak. Bit of a black tie affair, all the best Asian skiers, but they've clashed here with Jimmy Gion. It's jump set, so because you'd have to say he would have to be a contender, a nominee for Best of Asia is Jimmy Gion. But hopefully there's still plenty of support here. I know he's a huge superstar in Korea. He's a bit of a rock star, actually. If you ever make your way to a Waterski tournament career, he's almost delivered to the start dock in a limousine. He's got adoring fans, of course, signing autographs before and after the event, Jimmy Gion. What a huge moment if he could come up with a big jump and possibly make his way into the men's jump final here at the World Championships on the biggest stage. Coached, of course, he's a great coach himself, but coached a lot by Kai Lead. I see the sticker on the helmet there, skifluid.com. Kyle, one of the world's best jump coaches, running a ski school there in Orlando, Florida. I'm not sure whether Kyle was watching this webcast till about 11 o'clock at night his time. He's gone to bed, I'd say, but he must just about be time to get up again, Kyle, and start watching some jump. It's about, about 4:30 in the morning for Kyle right now in Orlando, and he's probably pretty keen, a former champion jumper himself, Kyle, to watch some jumping, so he might be waking up about now. Here's Jimmy Gion leaving the dock, folks. Get it together now. Big moment for Asia, big moment for Korea. Jumping Jimmy Gion. Nobody has fired yet this afternoon in this men's jump. Just not happening yet. Probably need that wind to swing a little bit more around to the south so we can get a bit more of a head breeze. It's not awful conditions, but it's not idyllic right now for big jumps. It's just a bit too much of a crosswind. I still think, though, when we get to the top, those top 7 or 8 jumpers, they will still go big. I'm confident of that. Jimmy Gian. Got his whole family here. He's got his wife and his baby. Pulls out wide here now. Counter cut. Sprays. Almost sprays the 6. Big strong pull out on that Nautique towboat. He loves the Nautiques. He's a big fan of the Nautiques, of course. Let's see how he goes. Jump number 1, Jimmy Gian. Into the ramp he goes. Plenty of speed. Up he goes. Oh, geez, no. Wow. Had a crack, didn't he? Pushed hard, but slipped out. Did a bit of a side slide in the air. Looked like he might have been in a bit of trouble, but he managed to land on his skis, which is great to see. Jimmy Gian, of course, unfortunately for him, had a pretty big crash at the Moomba Masters back in March. Wow. Spectacular stuff. I got a feeling he was always in control, though. We won't worry about that distance. It'll be somewhere in the low 40s. The main thing is he's okay. I need help with my live scoring because it's gone to tricks. Someone can help me? Okay, Jimmy Gian now. First jumps around that 42 metre mark. Almost slipped out, landed on his skis, which is great. Similar approach. I don't think he's going to change too much with his timing. He's just going to try and get it all together and get some boot off the top of this jump ramp. Here is Jimmy Gian, Korean superstar. Lets that one go. Oh, jeez. Bit of pressure on him here now. The greatest jump skier Asia has ever seen. A world's here in Asia. He's got the weight of 4 or 5 billion people on his shoulders, of course. They want to all see him do well. Absolute superstar out of Korea. As we watch Jimmy Gian now, he heads back down. He's looking across at his coach. He's waving to a few fans in the crowd. Under a bit of pressure now. He's got issues because he's sitting on a 40-odd metre jump. And a pass, it's not going to be enough. Okay, well I can confirm that Kyle Eder's awake. He's obviously set his alarm to watch this men's jump because he's up and watching early in the morning, just 20 to 5 in the morning I think, there in Orlando, and he's watching Jimmy Gian, who spends a lot of time coaching, and this is not going well so far for Jimmy Gian. He's got about a 42 metre effort on his first. Can he get it together here? Jump number 3. Into the ramp he goes. He's got some speed. Can he get his kick? He's got better kick, and that'll be further. He's going to be mid-50s, I would say. He's happy. He gives a little fist pump. I think it'll be around 55. We'll wait for the distance to come through. Jimmy Gian. $55.1. $55.1 for Jimmy Gian. Okay, next up we have the Australian, of course, Joshy Wallen. He got a personal best close to 63 metres. Current lead is still with Series 3 that happened 2 days ago, of course. Who's Louis de Plon Freiberg. He's, of course, had a 63.7, starting to look even better as a score. A little bit better conditions, I think, a couple of days ago for Series 3 and 4. We had a nice head breeze at the moment. It's trying to be a head breeze, but it really isn't. It's more of a crosswind. As we watch Joshy Wallen, young superstar out of South Australia. Because the boat speed will be 57 kilometres per hour. He's off the big 1.8 metre. He'll be coached, of course, from the point by Aussie team coach Ryan Green, himself a 68 plus metre jumper. Plenty of experience, because Ryan Green, more experience than anyone, I think, in Asia. I think he's probably got more jump and overall titles at Asian Oceania Championships than any skier before him. So he knows all about long distance jumping in this part of the world. And Josh Wallen makes his way down to make his first approach for the jump. Okay, here we go now. Josh Wallen pulls out for his a counter cut. Let's see what he does here. Reasonably conservative approach on jump number 1. Strong pull out though. He's built for jump, this guy. Magnificent jump at the Junior Worlds in 2014 in Peru. That silver medal there, of course. I think he jumped, from memory, about 56 metres actually at those Junior Worlds. Remember, that's just at 51 kilometres per hour. And he almost had the gold medal. He went into the final as a top seed. It was only Taylor Garcia in the end that was denied Australia and Josh Wallen of that gold medal at Junior Worlds in Lima 2014. Passes on jump number 1. Heads back down now. He's got 2 jumps to come. See that sensational Nautique towboat as it makes its way down the course. I know there's a lot of Kiwis watching the webcast right now. That's towboat's headed to New Zealand at the end. Apparently Mike Wortman is fairly confident that he's got a buyer for this. Apparently heading to the South Island. We'll update Kiwis, I'm sure, as over the next couple of months where it's headed. But it's a magnificent towboat and such a great sponsor, Nautique. The money they've put into World Water Skiing, of course, sponsor all our world championships. Not only in tournament skiing, but of course wakeboarding as well. And thanks very much to the hard-working people at Nautique for bringing us this sensational new 2019 model. Here he goes, Joshy Wallen, passed on his first. Pulls out wide. Hasn't changed a lot actually down at the 600. Great turn. He's got a really nice turn, Josh Wallen. Into the ramp he goes. Big kick up the top, and there we go. That is a great jump from Josh Wallen. Really good stuff from the Aussie. Got to be close to 60 metres. Remember, this bloke's PB 62, so it is a decent jump from Josh Wallen. He has put it all out there. He's not worried about this crosswind right now. Well, he might be a little bit, but he's still going out there hard for Australia. Pushing hard. Good air form, Josh Wallen. 58.7 metres for Josh Wallen. That's a very good jump. He's within 3 or 4 metres of his personal best, so that's all you ask for. Let's see if we can't get him up over 60 though on jump number 3. He's got Ryan Green down there. I don't know if we'll get a shot on the point of Aussie legend Ryan Green, just giving him the advice. We probably won't. But Ryan Green looks superb, of course, in his canary yellow uniform down there. One of the greatest Australians to ever be an Australian is Ryan Green. So that's a good jump from Josh Wallen. 58.7. He'd dearly love to get something with a 6 in front of it. And he's going to have one last jump to do it. See the Aussie supporters down there on the point. Here he comes. Pulls out wide on the Nautic towboat. He's way later. He split the 6. You see one ski either side of the 6, and he means business here. This is a couple of metres later than his first 2 approaches. Come on, Joshua Wallen. Come on, Australia. Into the ramp he goes. Big kick off the top. Is it? Oh, it looks like a big jump. Oh, it's a little further. Hopefully it's going to be 60. It's going to be really close. If it's not 60, it's going to be 59.8 or one of those sort of annoying distances. Good stuff, Josh Wallen. He's come to the World Champs and he's had a crack. Good speed into the bottom of the ramp, on the corner, big kick off the top. Great air form from Josh Wallen. Sensational stuff. Waiting for the score now for Josh Wallen. 59.8 metres, which is kind of what I thought it might end up being. Not quite 60, but awfully close. Well done, 59.8 metres from Josh Wallen. So our next competitor, Luca Spinelli, will not be skiing, folks. Unfortunately, we know that he had a big fall in slalom earlier this morning and unfortunately broke a couple of little bones in his ankle. He's currently on crutches, so that's disappointing for him. He's unable to jump. So we skip Luca Spinelli. If you're looking at your program, we go to Canadian jump specialist Alex Paradis. Not a guy we see a lot of on the world professional circuit or anything like that, but he does jump a lot at the world champs. I remember him jumping into the jump finally in Mexico in 2015. So great to see Alex here. Skiing, he's from Canada, but skiing as an independent at these world championships. Just 2 skiers left. We've got Alex Paradis from Canada right now out on the water. Then we have Stepan Spak from Belarus. And then, of course, we go to Series 1 jump. Series 1 jump has 13 unbelievably sensational, exciting jump skiers, and super pumped about this. Here we go. Alex Paradis from Canada. Jump number 1. I guess parts of Canada are beginning to wake up, set their alarm to watch their athletes jump here today. That's a great opening jump for this young man. Solid, actually. Around that 58 or 59 metres. That's the best opening jump we've seen today. Not sure whether this guy's had a lot of training. He's not part of the Team Canada this year, but whether he's had on-site training or not, I'm not sure. But that's a good, solid opening jump from Alex. 59 metres. 59 metres opening jump. Good stuff. As he heads back down to the northern end. Makes a couple of mental adjustments. I'm sure he would have had help from his coach on the shore. And starts to think about what he needs to do on jump number 2. Hasn't actually filled out his... Sorry, I'm telling a fib. He has filled out his skiers profile on worldwaterskiers.com. And if the internet will work with me, I will pull it up and let you know a few things about Alex. It's not currently working right now, but here we go. Young man out of Canada, 28 years of age. Jump number 2 coming up. Personal best is 68.3 metres from Quebec City, right on the eastern edge of Canada. Jump number 2. Into the ramp he comes. Oh, nice jump. Great jump. Slightly further. It's probably about a metre further, I think. So he might have got 60. He still needs more, and he knows it. He's thinking, this is okay, but it's not enough. He wants to be in the jump final. He's a jump specialist. He's flown all the way from Quebec down here to Malaysia. He wants to make the jump final, and he hasn't got enough yet, folks. It's great air form. Really nice jump. But you won't make the men's. I don't care where you are, what the conditions are. I don't think you're going to make the men's jump final with 60 metres or 59 metres or that sort of stuff. I still think you're going to need to get at least a 62 or 63 to make it through to the jump final. Time will tell. 59.4. Alex Paredes from Quebec City in Canada. Waterski idols are Jarrett Llewellyn and Ryan Dodd, which is very Canadian of him. Best I said is 68.3. He is coached by Michael McCormick. He skis in Quebec, so yeah, it's great to see a Canadian skier that actually skis in Canada, trains full time in Canada, because so many of them, of course, reside down in Florida. Here he goes, 28-year-old. Let's see if he can't get something up around the mid-60s, and that would probably get him into the final. Jump number 3. Nice slow turn, into the ramp he comes. Up he goes. No, geez, no, he's gone out the back, has he? He's managed to land on his skis. I think he's going to be okay. But he almost did the full back gainer, but he managed to get his skis back. Well, let's just watch this replay. Hard for me to tell. I need Jarrett Llewellyn or Grant Barnett next to me, but well, I'm not going to tell you what went wrong, but I'm going to tell you the result. He went way too far back and unable to land it. He's okay, though, I think. He's got 59.5 metres to his name. 59.4. Slight correction. Whether that's enough, I highly doubt that'll get him through to the final. But he's down here representing Quebec City, trying to get himself into the jump final. Okay, boat's just going to go up and do a quick up and down. We've got to get the skier out of the way, and there'll be a delay, and we don't want any different conditions. We're working so hard to get everything the same for all of our competitors. So while we're collecting the skier, who I think we're not collecting the skier, looks like he's going to swim home. So it's not an easy thing to do. Swim back with your jump skis and helmet, and got to get your arm out of the arm sling, that sort of thing. Probably a lot easier for these finely tuned athletes than some of those older guys that still jump, but he's making his way back to the shore. Rescue boat, pickup crew look like they're having a nice nap out there in the Malaysian sunshine. Beautiful weather here in terms of temperature, and that's a nice 33, 34 degrees with 90% humidity. Just absolutely perfect for water skiing, making the Florida residents feel at home at least. I guess if you come out of a winter somewhere around the world, that can be a little bit warm. No sign of a storm yet this evening. It's coming up 5 p.m. I think it was about now that the heavens opened last night, about 4:45, I think, and everything turned pear-shaped on us. We were having a magnificent jump event, and then we had a massive storm come through. But at the moment, there's no sign of that as we watch the men's jump. The boat will come back. We've got our final competitor in Series 2 of men's jump. It is, of course, a Belarusian athlete, Stefan. Just checking here. Updating live results while I talk to you. Stefan Špak from Belarus, who will be the last competitor in Series 2. Leaving the dock, course 57 kilometers per hour will be his speed. The ramp is at the full maximum, 1.8 meters. Okay, 24 years of age, out of Minsk in Belarus. The personal best of 66.7, folks. He's coached by the great Jack Travis there in Sunset Lakes in Florida when he makes his way across to Florida. His strongest event is overall, and that's because he tricks over 10,000 points and runs into the 11.25 meter line. So strong overall skier. Belarusian team member, of course. In a minute, once he catches his breath, I'm going to be joined back in commentary by Grant Barnett. Good to have you back, mate. You've been down there supporting Aussie skier Joshy Wallen. I thought he jumped pretty well, mate.
He did. We're really proud of him. He went out there and really had a poke. He was really committed. A little challenging on the first jump, and then the second and third, he really did absolutely everything that we could have expected of him, and Ryan coached him brilliantly. Unfortunately, Josh is a little light guy, and it's pretty breezy out there once you get up in the air, and maybe pushed him back 2 or 3 meters, but we're absolutely wrapped with the way his commitment and what he's brought to our team and our group and what he's done today. So huge hats off to Josh for everything he's achieved today. Great jumping.
Yeah, I thought he did super well. Here we go, back on the water. Belarusian Stefan Špak. Oh, that's big, is it? Oh, geez, he's got out the front right at the last minute. That is one of those that really hurts. He has landed full frontal there, face planted into the water. No chance whatsoever to roll. Initial feeling is that he's okay. He looks to be pretty good here, actually, considering. I'm sure he'll be sore tomorrow. Let's watch the slow replay here. Grant, what went wrong?
Well, he looked like a nice turn. Rushed maybe the setup a little bit. A lot of pull into the bottom, right on the bottom right-hand corner. Great pull off the top. Right there, he just pushed out a little bit too far. The right ski started to go down, and it was all over. He went straight down. Unfortunately, the safety boat were into him very quickly, and ouch. Whoa, that's not what we want to see.
He took it right on that right shoulder in the end. He did manage to start to roll, but he never got on his back, which of course is the aim of the game.
Let's have a look at again a second time here in the World Water Skiers replay. Nice time of turn, extends the arms out, ready for the pull. The power comes on. Edges all the way in the bottom, and he really did get some nice lift off the top. It was more about 3/4 of the way through his float that he decided to extend that little bit extra. And when he did, he just kept going over and over. That's where he needed to stop, but it just pushed out even more, and handle went down, and it was right on that right shoulder. And quite fortunate, I think, Glenn, that he did manage to turn that far and take it rather than straight on his chest. But he does seem like he's okay. Helmet's on, gloves are on. We're just going to fetch the skis. Hopefully we haven't got a rope around the tournament towboat. But ladies and gentlemen, if you are here in the grandstands, please put your hands together for our athlete. What a courageous performance.
Oh, okay, so he's going to get a bit of time here, actually. Nothing to do with him, but we appear as though we might have the tow rope under the boat of the towboat. So we're actually looking for a volunteer to go for a swim. It's normally...
Well, of course, these things can happen, Glenn, when you have a situation where an athlete goes out the front like that. The tournament towboat wants to get back to them quickly as well, and we've got some wind. The conditions aren't absolutely ideal, so we can't put the blame there too far at this point in time. The main thing, of course, is that our athlete is okay. Stefan Špak from Belarusia.
Geez, he's tough. He looks okay. Looking at him standing up on the dock. It's not one of those, you know, if you're practicing, you can go back in after this and, you know, have a bit of a lie down, a cup of tea, ice up. But this is world champs. He's got to get out again and get a score on the board.
Right, Louis Duplan Fribourg from France, still out in the lead, 63.7. Of course, he jumped that distance 2 or 3 days ago. Daniele Filchenko is at 60.4. Tanguy Dayland from France has a 60.1, and Joshua Wallant from Australia back in 4th position at 59.8 metres. So they are your top 4 leaders. It looks like it's going to take a jump, certainly well into 60 metres to make the jump final, you would think, Glenn.
Absolutely.
Stepan, of course, our last competitor in Open Men's Series 2 jump before we go into Open Men's Series 1. 13 competitors. Dorian Llewellyn will be our first out. And, of course, he had a wonderful tournament just a couple of weeks ago at the Pan American Championships, taking out the overall event. He's tricked and slalom pretty well, so he'll be looking to put out a great jump distance for his overall score and, of course, for Team Canada as well. As we've just got a situation with the rope under the boat at the moment.
Well, it happens to the best of us, of course. Those of us that spend a bit of time in a boat, driving a boat, we've all done it.
Maybe just recapping a little bit of today's action, Glenn, going back from the men's slalom event. Of course, we had Series 2 and 1. A lot of talk around that maybe we wouldn't had some higher slalom scores, guys running the 10.7 5 metre pass. Well, it certainly came around today here at Putrajaya, and a wonderful slalom event. Of course, a little bit of drama towards the end with Nate Smith initially being awarded that he missed his gates on the 10.7 metre 5 metre pass, but there was a protest put in, and he then went into a 3-way runoff and did move through into the finals. And of course, then we went into some trick skiing, and the ladies tricked really well as well, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Especially towards the end, they had some great tricking.
Nearly Ross took the honours with 10,350, but Anna Gay's at 9,700, and there's a bunch in the high 8,000s as well. So we look forward. That's going to be one of the classics, the women's trick final, which is set for Sunday. First final of these worlds, of course, tomorrow morning. I think it's women's slalom, so we look forward to that. First skier, I think, will be Aussie Sadie Ferguson, so we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to Sadie getting out there, her first final at the World Championships, and her first World Championships, in fact, as well. So
absolutely.
Skied amazingly well this weekend has Sadie from Australia, made the women's slalom final and the jump final, or we hope so. Still a little bit of ladies, of course, Series 1 to come. What was not concluded yesterday due to the wild weather here that we had, and we're still yet to conclude the last 6 or 7 competitors in Series 1 of women's jump. So that's probably unlikely going to happen today, Glenn. Of course, we don't have the official call from Candido, our chief judge. That may conclude tomorrow, and that may push women's jump final back onto Sunday before men's jump. Of course, that is absolutely unofficial. We have not had confirmation of that, but that is looking highly likely at this point in time.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we'll cross over. We might have a bit of an ad break, folks, just while we're getting the rope from under the bottom of this tournament towboat. So, webcast people, if we can run a bit of an ad break, please, be good.
Putrajaya, Malaysia this August to watch the world's best water skiers in action. Don't miss it.
Watch the best water skiers in the world compete at the 2019 World Waterski Championships in Putrajaya, Malaysia.
Welcome back, folks, to Malaysia, Putrajaya. We are back on now. A little bit of a technical difficulty there. Equipment failure. The boat is running a couple of dummy passes.
So confirmation has come through, Glenn, that Stepan will have a warm-up jump on his first jump because it's obviously clearly gone over the 10 minutes of the break of when the rope did go under the boat. Of course, if you just joined us, Stepan Shpak from Belarus, our last competitor in Open Men's Series 2 jump, had a nasty fall on his first jump, went straight out the front. Tournament towboat turned around, tried to come back to him quite quickly. Safety boat came in, and during all of that confusion, the rope did go under the boat, got caught around the propeller, has been around about 10 or 15 minutes now. and they have been managed to free the rope. I think very good chance he'll probably be using a new one. And Tournament Towboat will make a couple of passes through and will bring Steppen back through for a warm-up jump.
So we see our leaderboard up on the webcast now, which is great to see. Still, of course, with the big jump, 63.7. Louis Deplon, Freiburger, France, leads this event. Tanguy Deland also, who jumped 2 days ago, 60.1. Joshie Wallant, the Aussie, is in third at the moment, 59.8. Alex Paradis from Quebec in Canada, 59.4, is in fourth. There's all your scores in front of you. You can see them.
Yep, Josh Wallant from Australia hanging in there in third place at the moment. So one more pass before we will bring Steppen Spack back for either a optional warm-up jump or his second jump. Of course, a nasty fall on his first one. He is okay. The rope has been cleared from the propeller in all of that confusion, Glenn. And we hope to have him back on the water very shortly. Conditions, well, you couldn't get them much better. The wind has actually continued to die off over the last 15 or 20 minutes or so as we get to the sharper end of Open Men's Series 2 jump. Steppen is the last competitor before we move into Open Men's Series 1, and that will be with Dorian Llewellyn from Canada. 13 competitors in Series 1 jump.
Yeah, I think I might have heard that Steppen's decided not to take his warm-up jump. I think we'll have confirmed that, but he's obviously in the zone. He's got his eye on. He's happy to take just the 2 jumps because the warm-up jump doesn't score. You just obviously get a chance to get back into rhythm, but he's feeling fairly warmed up at the moment, I'd say.
I'll bet he is.
Adrenaline is pumping. Exactly.
Yeah, but great to see he's okay. That's the most important thing. And he looked great. I mean, nice setup, nice turn, great pull off the top, and he really just stretched out a little bit too much towards the top of his flight and just pushed out over the front of his skis, and the right tip went down, and it was all over Red Rover Glenn as he took it right on his right shoulder, which is probably a saviour rather than straight on the front. Didn't look to be too winded or injured, popped up pretty quickly, hands went up. As it looks like we might have one more pass through. Just gone 5:15 here in Putrajaya in Malaysia. Of course, we're around about 40 minutes from the capital city, Kuala Lumpur, here in Malaysia. A beautiful part of Malaysia as well, Putrajaya. Lots of modern and new infrastructure around, Glenn. The athletes' hotels are only 10 or 15 minutes away. Transport's fantastic. Absolutely haven't put a foot wrong, have they, the Malaysians? They do it extremely well. And big hats off to Hanifa and all of his team who have put on an absolutely magnificent World Championship so far. And awesome to see that his young daughter, Alea, made the trick final as well.
Absolutely. And we're expecting this weekend, tomorrow morning, for our finals. We're going to get a big crowd in because we've got a full grandstand here, of course. 2,500 seat grandstand. Great viewing for water skiing. We've got carnivals happening behind us. We've got food trucks. I think something like 30 food trucks coming in over the weekend. So we should get a lot of locals down here to watch this event. Really excited about this weekend's finals.
Yep, no doubt about it. First time we've had a stadium World Championships like this for many, many years. Of course, you think back to the late 70s, early 80s. Thorpe Park was what you would call a stadium-type venue. Then we had facilities like Toulouse in France, and then Rock and Bruin also was a wonderful stadium, and a number of others over the years. And it's the first time really in many years we've come to a major capital city, 2,500 seat grandstand here. Wonderful conditions so far. And let's hope that can remain over the next couple of days as we move into the finals of both men's and women's. Right, so just recapping, Stepan Spack, our last competitor in Open Men's Jump Series 2. Nasty crash on the first one. He looks okay. When he comes back down past us, folks, let's give him a warm round of applause. Build his confidence up. It's exactly what he needs. Ideal conditions out there. He looked great in any case. Just pushed out a little bit over the top at the top of his flight. Other than that, it looked like it was going to be a great opening jump. So we'll wait to see if he has a warm-up jump first. He does have the option of that.
Sounds like he is going to take a warm-up jump. So he's it was discussing whether he wanted it or not, but he's decided he does. So we all have a warm-up jump. This, no matter what happens here, we won't be recording this distance. So he can do anything that he likes here. But I think what he'll do is just use it to make sure he's got his timing sorted, and maybe try and get his confidence back a bit. If he's lacking, it doesn't look like the crash is shaking him up too much. So physically, he looks okay. He'll be a bit sore tomorrow, don't you worry. But it's a mental thing, really, isn't it? As long as you've been a 200-foot plus jumper, Grant, and it's all about having that confidence, that top 6 inches, top 4 inches, isn't it?
Yep, just the belief. That's it. And he'll know exactly what he did wrong. He knew into the bottom he was perfectly okay. Up off the top, he had great lift and great pull, and just pushed a little bit too hard right at the top of his flight. And he should be absolutely fine. If his bit of belief and commitment there from Stepan, I'm sure we'll see him come back and put some great jumps on the board. Of course, the leader so far from France, 63.7. Louis Duplan-Fribourg, who competed 2 or 3 days ago. Let's see if we can get Stepan up over 60 metres on this warm-up jump here, Glenn.
Yeah, so his approach seems reasonably conservative. It looked to be a little bit earlier down there on the 6th than he did on his first jump. Let's that one go. Pretty predictable, I guess, that he passed it.
Yep, not surprising there that he passed that one. Just having a little bit of an eye-opener, a look at things again, Glenn.
Get the feel of the boat, the scream of the Nautique and the conditions and everything out there.
Yeah, nice setup. He looked really nice there. That looked like a little bit later than his the jump that he had the fall on, but often when you get your skis back on, put the helmet back on, arm in the arm sleeve, jump back in the water again, you feel at home again, and it often disappears out of your mind fairly quickly and just get back on the job at hand.
Absolutely.
So recapping our top 3 or 4 leaders at the moment, Louis Duplan-Fribourg looks like he will probably make the final, possibly. You just never know. We do have 13 competitors to come in Open Series 1 jump, but that is the leader, 63.7. And we go to Danielo Filchenko from the Ukraine at 60.4. Tanguy Dayland from France at 60.1, and Joshua Wallant from Australia hanging in there at 59.8 metres.
Big moment here. It doesn't matter whether you jump 68 metres like this bloke, or 30 metres or 40 metres, or how far you jump. It is hard to get out and jump after a crash. It's not something you'd want to say while he was listening to us, but we've all been there. Anyone that's been over a Waterski jump has had this feeling before. I guess it's probably easier that it's a world champs, because you can't. There's no way of backing out of this. He's in a corner here. He has to go over the ramp here. He can't. It shouldn't be hard, I guess, to find the motivation to try and jump big here, because he's got that goal, that carrot in front of him of making a world's jump final.
All right, here he is. Second jump for Stefan Spank from Belarus. Does not have one on the board yet. Let's see what he can do here on his second jump. Edges all the way into the bottom and throws the handle, puts the hand in the air. Looks like he may...
On his approach,
feel like there's something wrong here.
On his countercut, he looked at the boat. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes, he did. And Les Todd is up in the boat having a chat to Stepan.
Whether okay.
And the switch looks like it did not engage there for Stepan. So not an ideal set he's having here, is it, Glenn?
That happens.
The poor guy, he's gone straight out the front on jump number 1.
That happened
and the
to
switch has not engaged on jump number 2. Of course, he had a warm-up jump, the one that he just passed on. He'll be coming in for a...
So there's a little plug, isn't there, down about where the boat judge's feet are, that sometimes accidentally gets unplugged. The switch didn't engage, which means he wouldn't have got the gas in the boat. This actually happened to me on Sunday, Grant. It happened. I was taking a local club skier. It was his first jump of the season, still winter at home. Chris Lincoln, shout out to you. I was a little bit nervous for the young bloke, first jump of the season, and we got no gas on his first jump. He was fine, he landed okay, but I looked down and there it is, the plug unplugged. So it happens all the time.
Well, if I was jumping in New Zealand winter, Glenn, I wouldn't want any gas either. I don't think it would have been very comfortable.
No, she was a balmy 15 degrees, I'd say.
All right, let's see if we can get some luck on Stefan Spack's side. He's had a nasty fall on the first. We've had a 10 or 15 minute break to unwind the rope from the propeller.
Well, he doesn't have a jump rope anymore, the poor bloke.
That's right. He's borrowed someone else's jump rope here. He's had a warm-up jump, which is a pass. His second jump now officially will be a re-ride because of the switch did not engage. So this will be Stefan Spack's second jump. He has not got a score on the board yet, but 2 to come. Let's hope we can get the Belarusian up and over on a safe jump and up over 60 metres.
Come on, let's go, Stefan. Jump number 2 effectively. This looks better. He looks happier. He's focused. He looks down the course. Now he looks across the big red. He makes his approach. Looks like a good spot to me. He's got plenty of speed at the bottom. Oh, slips out on his lift. Just drifted onto his heels a bit, I guess, and kind of safety crushed it. What do you think, Grant? I guess you'll look at the replay, but do you think maybe because he went out the front on the first one, he's thinking on that one he just wants to get a ride over and maybe just step back a little bit for safety? Or we'll have a look and see, I guess.
Yeah, possibly, although he does look fairly committed. I mean, even though his first jump was a nasty crash, he did look pretty good through the turn here. Edges all the way into the bottom. But as you say, that was a replay of the jump where the switch did not engage. So he's not going to want to know about the distance on this second one. So he's got one jump to come, has Stefan Spack from Belarus.
Here we go. Here's the replay. Into the ramp he comes, pushing hard. What happens here, Grant?
Well, no doubt about it, he's nervous and he's late right on the corner there as well. So that might have been a bit of a concern for him to just sit back on his heels a little bit off the top.
That's a great shot if you could freeze frame that right now with the buildings in the background.
Yep, too far over the skis on the first one, too far back on the skis on what really was officially his second jump, although he's been out there a little while now, has Stefan Spack from Belarus. Let's hope he can get it all together here on the third one. We wish him well. Last jump for Stefan Spack from Belarus. Let's see what he can do.
Yep, he leaves it as late as he can, but probably not quite as late as the jump 2. He needs to get more into the middle of the ramp and get some lift. Oh, not bad lift, but I feel for this bloke. I really do. He's going to miss out on the final here, and he deserves some sort of hard luck ribbon, I think, at the presentations, if we can arrange that, because he has had some bad luck here.
Yep, no doubt about it. Certainly not the ideal set that he would have wanted. Skis just spreading on the ramp a little bit there. Does get some nice flight there, but that's certainly...
I mean, the first
certainly
jump,
not going to be the jump that he's looking for.
If he hadn't gone out the front, was probably going to be a close to 60-metre jump, but he just tipped out over the front. So tough set for Stefan. 42.1 was his second jump. We're just waiting for the distance on his third. So we'll go now. We'll start seed 1. We'll start the seed 1, of course, and the seed 1 will start with Doreen Llewellyn.
And what great form this guy has been in over the last couple of weeks. Glenn taking out the overall championships of the Pan Am Games in South America just a couple of weeks ago. Had a great trick result. Slalom reasonably well as well, into 11.25 metres. And looking forward to seeing what Dorian Llewellyn can do in the jump event here this afternoon for his all-important overall score during the first of 13 competitors.
Yeah, well, he's in that overall battle, as you say. Tricked well. Tricked, I think, 10,600. And Slalom let him down a little bit, Dorian. He wasn't that happy. I think 3 at 11 is what he's ended up with. But if he can jump well here, he gets himself back in the running, even if not obviously for the gold medal maybe, but to get on the podium, which is in itself is a huge achievement. the first 3 skiers in this event are in, I think they're in seed 1 because of their overall ranking. Although it's hard to know. First 4 skiers are top because overall skiers. Dorian Llewellyn, Thibaut Deland and Martin Coleman and Joel Poland.
Still not a confirmed distance for Stefan Schmack's last jump yet. Of course, he won't want to know anything about 42.1 on his second.
Oh, I see. That's the ramp had to go back down, even though it's not on our. Oh, it is actually. Sorry, apologies. The ramp goes back down for Dorian Llewellyn, 1.65. So that's what we've been doing here.
All right, ramp heights now has been adjusted back to 1.65 metres for Dorian Llewellyn, team skier from Canada.
We weighted the same as what we weighted between Jimmy and Robert Hazelwood. That's the extra up and down for the boat for the run.
54 metres. We've got the score through now.
So 54 metres for Stefan Schmack's third and final jump from Belarus. That will conclude Series 2 Open Men's Jump.
Yeah, he had some bad luck, didn't he, Stefan? Heart goes out to the Belarusian. Things just didn't go for him. It was a 45-minute set that had its problems along the way, obviously, and out the front on jump 1. Big delay, of course, with the technical difficulty. Then another rewrite, of course, with a jump switch failure. So 54 metres won't be enough, though. Dorian Llewellyn now. Of course, Dad Jarrett, he's been helping us out a lot in commentary. He's down on the dock down there. He's been imparting some of his experience, his years of experience at world titles onto his son, Dorian, who is in with a shot in the overall, I'm sure, if he can get a big jump here in this elimination round.
Yeah, and just recapping some scores, Glenn, of course, there's 13 competitors. 12 will go through to the final. So if each one of these competitors coming up does go over 63.7, that will essentially be round about the mark for our finalists to get through to the final. That's, of course, if they do all go over that particular distance. Louis Duplan-Fribourg from France has the lead at 63.7. As Dorian Llewellyn comes in for jump number 1.
Yep, just turns around the 600-foot ball there. Nice, solid, very well balanced, of course. Wonderful genetics and lots of time on a trick ski, so he's very well balanced on jump skis. Up he goes, tidy stuff from Dorian Llewellyn. Lovely opening jump. It's going to be just a shade, I think, under 60 metres. Around that 59.5, I think, on jump number 1.
Yeah, great opening jump from Dorian Llewellyn. It's exactly what he would be after. As we'll wait for distance to come through. As we look at the replay here from World Water Skiers. Nice setup from Dorian. Nice turn there. Stretches the arms out. Lets the pool come on. All the way into the bottom. Left ski up a little bit. Oh, nice little... just to the left of the right corner. And nice float as well. Great airform from Dorian Llewellyn. 58.8 metres on the first jump. 58.8.
Good opening jump.
Great opening jump from Dorian Llewellyn. Let's see if we can get him up over 60 metres on this second jump.
Still leading this event, of course, after Series 3 of jump a couple of days ago is the Frenchman, Louis Duplan-Fribourg. And looking likely, I think, now that 63.7. We probably expected it. We thought that when he jumped it back a couple of days ago. It would be a good score, and it looks like it might get him through. We don't know that for sure yet. We still have 13 jumpers to go, including Dorian, who's not finished yet, of course. Here he comes now. Son of course, the great Jarrett Llewellyn and Britta Llewellyn, of course. 10,600 in trick, straight 11. So far, 58.8. Jump number 2. Here he comes. Big kick off the top. That's going to be a bit further, I think. Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be about the same hole, I think, Glenn, up
Yeah, it
around
is.
59. Could be our first 60-metre jump there in Series 1. We'll just have to wait for the distance.
Just needs to, well, I think, in my humble opinion, he just needs to get into the course a bit more and generate a bit more speed. His ramp work is superb, as you expect from him.
Yeah, great lift off the top. Look
Really
at that
good
pull.
lift.
But he is sitting right around the centre of the ramp as he comes onto it, so he could effectively bring it down a little bit longer, a little bit further, I should say, get a little bit more pull off the top, but great float from Dorian Llewellyn as we wait for distance to come through.
Wait for the score. Interesting bit of banter between the youngsters on the start dock during training. And I know Taylor Garcia, who was ribbing young Dorian a little bit about how early he cuts. He was telling him that he should put on, what have we got, 59.5 from Dorian Llewellyn. So he's getting a little bit, yeah, but Taylor, it was a bit of friendly ribbing to Dorian about how he needs to take his skirt off and cut a little bit later. So let's see if he can't do it. He's certainly got all the form, but if he wants to make the final, if he wants to win overall, maybe he just needs to get into the course a little bit more here, Grant.
Yep, needs to bring it down a little bit. Believe, get committed, and get stuck in on this last third and final jump. All important jump for Dorian, not only just for the jump final, but also for his overall score as well. Skiing for Team Canada is Dorian Llewellyn. This is third and final jump. First jumper in Open Men's Series 1 here at the 2019 World Waterski Championships. Let's see if we can get him up around 62, 63 metres here. Dorian Llewellyn puts the handle down, edges in all the way to the bottom, up off the top, and a great lift as well.
Little further.
Will it be more than 60 metres? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he's a little disappointed in himself. It's not the big blockbusting, barnstorming, huge jump he wanted, but I think it will be 60. I got a feeling this will be just a shade over 60. We'll wait and see. See where he hits the bottom of this jump ramp.
Yeah, certainly a little bit later on his third and final. Nice pull off the top. And great float. Look at that. Absolutely magnificent pictures coming from World Waterskiers here with our webcast.
Tidy, consistent jumping, though, from Dorian Llewellyn. We're waiting for the distance. Next competitor will be Frenchman Thibaut Delanne, who is right in this overall battle after his magnificent slalom earlier on this morning, of course. What was he, won at 10.25, I think, from memory. Lost a little bit in tricks yesterday. Oh, we got a 60-metre jump, though. Third and final from Dorian, 60.3.
Yep, 60.3. Great jumping from Dorian Llewellyn. First up over 60 metres in our Open Men's Series 1. It's the first of 13 competitors. Thibaut Delanne from France is our next competitor. Of course, it's just gone past 5:30 in the afternoon here in Putrajaya in Malaysia. And good evening, good morning, and whatever time it is around the world.
Yeah.
Of course, over in Australia and New Zealand, lots of friends texting in and saying hello, and they're watching it. Probably a beer in hand or a glass of wine or something, Glenn, as they watch this Open Men's Series 1 jump. A nice time of the evening over there to be watching jump. And good morning to everybody, of course, over in Europe as well. Your next competitor, of course, is from Europe. Thibaut Delanne from France. We'll bring up his profile here on World Waterskiers and get a little bit of information on him.
It's the home of water skiing. Waking up now. We're, what are we, 20 minutes to 6 in the eastern seaboard of the United States. So the superpowers of world water skiing in Florida will be waking up, putting their morning coffee on. It's a Friday morning, of course, still in Orlando, and they'll be watching this webcast. Great time to watch a bit of, before you head off to work, watch a bit of water ski jumping. The ramp's gone back up to 1.8. We've got Thibaut Delanne from France, 29 years of age. He made a big push for his overall chances today by slaloming 1 on the 10.25 metre line.
Yep, it's got a career best jump of 65.9 metres. Of course, our leader still from France. his teammate Louis Duplan-Fribourg, who jumped a couple of days ago, 63.7 in Series 3. From Danielo Felchenko from the Ukraine. He was also in the same series. Dorian Llewellyn is back at 60.3. Tanguy Dayland, 60.1. And Joshua Wallant from Australia hanging in there at 59.8 metres. The wind seems to have just dropped a little bit as Series 1 has come on, Glenn. Not quite as breezy as what it was for Series 2. So this will play into the hands of some of these more experienced jumpers. And I would not be surprised if we get something up around 68, 69 metres as the likes of Jack Kreitley from Great Britain, Igor comes on from Russia, and Taylor Garcia, Ryan Dodd, of course. And, of course, the Miranda boys from Chile will be out here as well.
Yep. Good solid pull out here, Thibaut Deland from France. Nice turn. Jeez, he's controlled into the bottom of the ramp. He goes. Big kick up the top. Oh, that is a ripper of an opening jump from Thibaut Deland. It's going to be over 60, I believe. I think it'll be about 61 metres opening jump for the Frenchman. Geez, this was controlled, Grant.
Yeah, great opening jump. Exactly what he would have been looking for. Great confidence booster here. Good setup. Nice slow turn. And as I said earlier, conditions really absolutely perfect out there now. Slight head breeze. A little bit early off the top, maybe hitting right in the middle there, but nice pull. 60.9 on the first, so he's just gone ahead of Dorian Llewellyn. 60.9 for Thibaut Deland from France's first opening jump. Of course, as we said earlier, personal best of 65.9 metres. And Glenn, a couple of days ago, we had quite a lot of personal bests in both the women's and men's jump. So let's hope these conditions can stay exactly the way they are over the next 45 minutes or so for these last 8 or 9 jumpers.
That's right, because it starts to get darker around 7 p.m. I think, so we've got an hour and a quarter of daylight left. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe an hour and a half of daylight. So generally on ski sites, as you get closer to dusk or night time, the wind does drop off, so it probably is going to get a little better as we get towards the top seeds. Here is Thibaut Deland now, open up with 60.9. Geez, I'd love to see him get up to 64 or 65. That would really help his overall chances, and also, of course, obviously get him into the final. Jump number 2, the Frenchman. Looks to be pretty good to me. Into the bottom of the ramp he goes. Oh, misses his kick a bit. Just grabs, gives a bit of a grab for the fans. A la Bruce Neville, of course, as he's in the air.
Yeah, didn't look comfortable here at all here, right? It seemed like he's had a bit of a rush turn here. Maybe he did bring it down a little bit. And right there, his left ski started to bounce up and down a little bit, right into the bottom, straight onto the heels. And that, of course, is the exact result you see right there. So 60.9 will be his longest so far on his first. Of course, that is exactly 200 feet, Glenn.
Well done. Yep. I reckon the spot's right, though. I think he's got his timing right. I just think he needs to sort that cut out a little bit, particularly from the wakes into the base of the ramp. And if he really gets his legs here, gets somewhere up around that 64, 65, gives himself a great shot. See, what's his best? 65.9. So 65.9 PB. So realistically, looking at the conditions, I'm thinking 63, 64 is well within his reach. 48.8 would it be, I think. 48.8 for the second jump. Forget about that one. The 60.9 is the one that counts, and this, even more importantly, is the third and final jump, and an opportunity for Thibaut here to get into the final. He hasn't done enough yet. Third and final. Makes his approach, sprays the 600-foot ball, pulls out wide on the Nautique towboat. Waits as late as he dares. Gets a good turn. Can he get into the bottom of the ramp and get some legs? Oh, he has to pass it up. He's looking at the boat here. He's gesturing, saying something's not right. I don't know. He's hoping, of course, hoping beyond hope that there was a technical failure, but he... so he's going to get a rewrite here because, once again, didn't engage on the countercut, Grant, which is unusual because it did engage on the approach to the ramp, so it can't have been an unplugged.
Yep.
Wow.
Some technical difficulties here this afternoon. Of course, we had one earlier with Stefan Spack where some engaging problems there as well with the switch, and looks like on the countercut there's no engagement. On the cut to the ramp, evidently there was, so he will get a re-ride. Thibaut Deslandes from France. 60.9 metres on the first.
It's interesting. I know we did have, with the storm last night, we did have a few internet issues, power issues here this morning. A little bit playing havoc with the electrical equipment, maybe, who knows. Let's just see what happens. Meanwhile, I think that wind continues to drop off. It's very hard for us up here in our ivory tower in the top here to know exactly what's happening with the weather out there, but I think the breeze is starting to drop off a little bit.
Yeah, just coming straight in over the bottom of the left side curtain, I would call it, Glenn. So a little bit of a headwind for the guys coming into the bottom of the ramp. Straight off the top, it's pretty nice, calming down nicely as he comes in for his third and final jump.
Okay, big moment here. He needs to get more. He's got 60.9, but it won't be enough to make the final, I don't think. Here he goes, Thibaut Deslandes into the jump ramp. He's got big speed. Not bad kick off the top, but it's not going to be the distance he wanted. Disappointing stuff. Ooh la la, he says as he heads back to the start dock.
Yep, that's certainly not what he's going to need. 60.9 so far. We think a jump of up over 63.7 is going to get pretty close to the men's jump final. That's presuming the rest of this field does jump up over that particular distance. So have a look at the replay here from World Waterskiers. Great pictures coming here from Putrajaya here in Malaysia. Makes his turn in. First jump was 60.9. All the way into the bottom there. And not quite getting his lift up off the heels there. A little bit of float there, but nothing like his first jump.
Yeah, and that's 56.1 on jump number 3. So the opening jump, 60.9, is his best. Next competitor will be Martin Coleman.
Another great overall skier,
Yeah.
Glenn.
He's in the hunt, of course.
From the Czech Republic, Martin Coleman, and good morning to those folks who have joined us in Europe today. Of course, our webcast going all around the world from Putrajaya here in Malaysia. Wherever you have logged in and watching the live stream, welcome. We're watching the Open Men's Jump Series 1. We're on to our third competitor, Martin Coleman. Our leader so far, Louis Duplan-Froberg from France, 63.7 metres.
Yes, and we can't be too far off declaring Louis Freiberg in the final, actually, thinking about it. We're getting down to the last 12 skiers now. In fact, we're down to 11 skiers now, so we can, I think, declare that Louis Duplan-Freiberg has made his way into the men's jump final. So that means that our cut now is at Thibaut Deslandes, actually at 60.9, unofficially. So 61 metres will get you into the jump final.
Here he comes in for jump number 1. Martin Coleman from the Czech Republic makes the turn in all the way to the bottom. Nice lift off the top. Lost a little bit there. I'm not quite sure that's going to be up around 60, but
High
a
50s.
reasonable opening jump for Martin Coleman on the first one. Lots of speed into the bottom as we have a look at the World Waterskiers replay here. Right over the front of his skis on the turn there. Extends the arm, lets the pull come on. Powers across the wake all the way into the bottom, right on the bottom right corner. A little bit off the heels off the top there. That's exactly where he lost some 2 or 3 metres in distance, Glenn. 57.2, 57.2. So a little bit back of what our fellow competitors have been jumping on their first jumps, up around 59 and 60 metres. So he'll certainly need to push it out a little bit further here to make it through to the final.
Yeah, he just if he can get his boot, he'll get through. So that's yeah. Now that final picture looks. Before you had to jump 63.7 to make it in. Now we've dropped back a bit. 60.9 will get you into the final. So that has dropped back a bit, and that's mainly because the Series 2 guys didn't really get it together out here. Now they didn't have as good of conditions, to be fair to them. Series 3, which happened 2 days ago, had better conditions than Series 2. But we're now into Series 1, and you would expect these guys to not have too much trouble with getting above that 60.9 that they need.
All right, coming in for his second jump, Martin Coleman from the Czech Republic, 57.2 metres on the first. He will know he's going to need a distance up over 61 metres to make it through to the final. Edges all the way off the bottom. Can he get them lift off the top? That's a much better jump from Martin Coleman for his second. He's also throwing his hand in the air, wondering what's happening, waving it around. Is there another technical issue? We'll have to wait and see, Glenn. Oh, the drama's coming on here. We've had
yeah, it's hard to know what he's gesturing about. Something hasn't felt right to him, but he may well have enough here, because that was over 60, I thought. It could be 61 yet, which would get him into the final. Not sure what he's asking about. This is a pretty strong edge into the bottom of the ramp. Bit of an upper body crush, but he still boots it. .61 exactly, 61 flat. So I've managed to pick the distance here. So the skier wants to request a rewrite or something. He's gesturing at the boat, but I actually think he's done enough here, unless I'm missing something. He probably doesn't know his distance yet, but I think he's done enough with 61 to make it into the final.
Seems that way, Glenn, although looks like the boat judge does want to bring the skier out and drop him. He does not want to do that. He wants to come in for jump number 3.
Maybe when he found out the distance, he thought, we'll just take that and move on. Who knows? Yep.
High drama here in the Open Men's Series 1 jump. We've got Martin Coleman coming in for his third jump. 61 metres on his second. Looks like that may get him through to the final. We'll have to wait and see. Pulls out nice and wide.
Good strong edge out here. Let's see if he can get a bit more, because he's in an overall battle. Don't forget, he wants as many metres as he can get. Makes his turn to the jump ramp. Big kick off the top. That's another great jump. Similar to 61, but he might have just got another foot or something out of that one. Maybe he might get a 61.2 or a 61.3. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep, let's have a look at the replay here on the webcast, and also live here on the big screen here at the stadium. Over the front of the skis in a turn, allows the pull to come on. Can he get up over 61 metres? We'll wait for the distance.
60.5 by the sound of it, so not quite as far.
So 60.5 on his third and final. So jump number 2 will be his longest, 61 metres.
But job done, if my calculations are right. He's
yeah, he's moved into second place at the moment, behind Louis Duplan-Fribourg from France. So our next competitor up will be Joel Poland from Great Britain. An amazingly talented athlete and overall skier. Of course, skied incredibly well at the Under-21 World Championships in Canada just recently, just about a month or 6 weeks ago. Looks like for some reason we're going to have the boat come up and do a pass through and back. Of course, our Chief Judge Candido wants to make sure that conditions are absolutely identically the same for all of these athletes. I'm not quite sure why, Glenn, we needed this one. But
I'm confused.
There was a boat passing somewhere evidently on the other
okay.
side of the lake, so we may have had some boat wakes come across, which is fair enough.
I guess, yeah, but while you're waiting for those rollers from the boat passing by, you might as well keep the towboat running up and down to keep a similar boat pattern. Just as well, petrol's fairly reasonably priced here in Malaysia.
It's been a fair few of those passes, hasn't there, over the last few days? But no, look, hats off to all the judges.
No,
they want to
make
they want to see consistency here, and they haven't put a foot wrong in relation to that since the start of competition on day number 1. It really has been first-class performance from them. So just coming up to around about 6 p.m. local time here in Malaysia. Of course, we've probably got about another hour of daylight to go, Glenn, you would think?
We have.
So about an hour, and hopefully we'll finish off these men's jumpers. There has been confirmation come through from our chief judge in relation to the event schedule over the next couple of days, and that I'm sure will be published fairly shortly here on World Waterskiers and also on the IWWF website. The conclusion of Series 1 women's jump will not happen today. Of course, we had a wild storm here yesterday, didn't we, that brought to a pretty abrupt end the women's Series 1 jump. We had about 6 or 7 competitors to go. They have not been able to squeeze them into today's competition. It looks like that will happen tomorrow.
Joel Poland, next competitor. He is hot stuff right now in the world of water skiing. This young bloke, under 21 world overall champion about 6 weeks ago in Canada, of course, those under 21 worlds. He's skiing so well, 11,000+ point tricker. He runs into deep down 10.75, if not into 10.25. And he can jump about 65 metres, so solid overall skier. Still just, I think he's 20 years of age, maybe 21 now. Absolute superstar of our sport.
And I can confirm the schedule for Saturday and Sunday, Glenn. I've had a notification come through from the Chief Judge that Saturday's proceedings will kick off at 9 a.m. with the women's slalom final. And then at 11 a.m. local time here, Kuala Lumpur, the men's trick final. At 12:30, we'll have the prize giving of those particular finals of the women's slalom and men's trick final. And then at 1 p.m. will be the end of women's jump prelim series 1. So the conclusion of prelim series 1 will go after at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and that will conclude Saturday's proceedings. And then on Sunday, we'll have the men's slalom final starting at 9 a.m. local time, Kuala Lumpur. Then 11 a.m. women's trick final. Prize givings of those 2 finals at 12:30, and then we'll have the women's jump final starting at 1 p.m. followed by the men's jump final at 2:30 p.m. So anybody following along with the women's series 1 and wanting to know what's happening, that will start again at 1 p.m. on Saturday here in Kuala Lumpur. Joel Poland coming in for jump number 1.
Yeah, here he is, one of the real young rock stars of our sport right now from Great Britain. Joel Poland, jump 1. Plenty of speed here. Big kick off the top. Solid opening jump right around that 60 metre mark to start. Good stuff. He's not worried about the conditions out there, Grant. He's young. He's full of confidence. He's in form right now. And he's throwing it out there right off the get-go.
Yep, nice opening jump from Joel Poland. As we wait for distance to come through.
59.9, so he couldn't get any closer to 60 on jump 1. He needs 61, folks, to get into the final. So now needs to find another metre or so.
So 59.9 for Joel Poland from Great Britain of an opening jump. As Glenn mentioned, up around 61 metres. This is what's going to be required.
It's back down towards the northern end. Makes the turn. Back into the jump course. 59.9 to open, 61 is what he needs. Led, of course, Great Britain to victory in the teams event at the Under-21 World 6 weeks ago. Won the overall. Sensational performance by young Joel Poland.
All right, Joel coming in now for jump number 2. Distance of 59.9 metres on his first. He's certainly going to need a distance up over 60 metres to make it through to the men's jump final. And looks like another technical difficulty here. Rope switch has not engaged again, which is extremely frustrating, Glenn. This is the second or third time this has happened. So we're going to bring the skier in. The boat judge is requesting that we potentially can change switches. I'm not sure whether, from a technical perspective, we can do that or not, Glenn, but to get us through these Open Men's Series 1 jump final, it may exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, I think you can. I don't know that that's an issue. They're going to probably change jump switches, as you said. Geez. Well, I certainly enjoy watching world-class jumping, but this is just starting to drag on a little bit here, unfortunately, because we are under a little bit of pressure to finish this before it gets dark. I guess we're okay. I think sunset's about 10 past 7, which is an hour and 10 minutes away, so we've still got a bit of time, I guess. Watch this jumping. Dinner reservations at 6:30 though, Grant. I'm going to have to get on the phone and push those back a little, I think.
Yep, you won't be there for those, Glenn. There's no doubt about it. So Joel Poland, first jump 59.9 metres. We've got some technical difficulties with the switch here in the boat. So we might take a break from proceedings here in Kuala Lumpur and come back to you shortly while we just sort out these technical difficulties with the switch.
We'll be back as soon as we can. I should only be a couple of minutes, folks, but we're going to, in the meantime, we'll hear a bit from our sponsors.
All right, we're back with Joel Poland, and notifications come through that he will have 3 fresh jumps. The first one will be discounted, so Joel Poland will have 3 jumps.
Yeah, so some technical difficulties here. Welcome back. We understand that Joel Poland has 3 jumps to come because on both of his first 2 jumps the switch did not work, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Don't quote me on that yet. We will get confirmation from the tower. At the very least, though, he will have 2 more jumps to come. So I'm not sure about that first jump just yet. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, he has been. This is the first jump coming up, folks. So he's got a rewrite now. So he has got a 59.9, but he won't have now. They're going to take that off him. He's had an optional rewrite on that. So this is all starting again for Joel Poland. The slate is clear. 3 jumps to come to go as far as he possibly can.
All right, let's see here. Joel Poland from Great Britain, jump number 1. Let's see what he can do. Up off the top. Oh, nice opening jump there from Joel Poland. That is over 60 metres, no doubt. Can he stand it up and ride it away? He does.
I think that'll be 62 metres or so from Joel Poland. That will get him into the final. Jump 1 effectively.
I think so, Glenn. Longest distance so far from France, Louis Duplan-Freiburg, 63.7. We'll wait for the distance on this one. This is certainly up over 60 metres.
63.5, I think I've just heard. We'll confirm that. There's a big jump here from Joel Poland.
Yeah, great jump here from Joel. Lots of pull off the top. Just missed it slightly as well. But stretches out over the top front of his skis there, and it looks like a jump distance of 63.5 metres. So that will put him in 2nd place behind Louis Duplan-Freiburg from France, who has a 63.7. So that will be a great distance for his overall score as well.
Absolutely.
Glenn.
That's what I was just thinking. Really helps out his overall score.
And for Team Great Britain, they've got a talented bunch of skiers here. So 63.5. So, of course, the slate was wiped clear. The technical issue on his first initial jump of 59 metres is gone. He had 3 new jumps, and he's come out and gone 63.5, or 208 feet in the old measurement. Coming in for jump number 2.
Yep, out across the wakes behind that Nautic towboat. The big roar of the engine, the switch is working now, don't you worry. You can hear it from here as he makes his turn for the jump ramp. Into the ramp he goes. Plenty of speed into the bottom. He's left, passes that up late, clips the corner. He's looking at the boat now too. Everybody's looking at the boat now because that little bit of doubt I think's been put in their head, but I reckon the switch worked on this one.
Yeah, no problem there, Glenn. I'm not sure what the issue there is from Joel, but a pass on his 2nd jump. 63.5 on his first. As we watch the replay here.
I think the switch worked because you could hear it back at the hotel.
Not feeling comfortable, right on his heels there, I think, and just decided to let that one go. Slipped it up over the left side corner there. Lucky we're not at Moomba. He'd be straight up under the...
Yeah, into the safety net.
Into the safety net there, wouldn't he? But pass it up here. Plenty of time, plenty of space here at Putrajaya. Ideal conditions. And a huge days of water skiing going back this morning, right back to 8 o'clock. We started out, of course, with the men's slalom event. Some great slaloming from many of our competitors there.
First skier off the dock at 8 a.m. I think I was here doing my warm-ups at about 20 past 7 this morning. And now it's, 10 minutes after 6. So, geez, that's a big day. 10 hours. 10 hours and 10 minutes so far of sitting in this chair watching water skiing. I got the best seat in the house, though. Watching the best water skiers in the world.
All right, let's see what Joel Poland can do on his 3rd and final jump. 63.5. He's sitting in 2nd place position right now. As he edges out nice and wide. For his 3rd and final jump, this will be a really important one for him, for Team GB, and his overall score as well. Here he comes, Joel Poland from England. Up off the top, great lift. I'm not quite sure it's going to be 63.5 though, Glenn. I think that might be
60 or 61, I think, but 63.5, his opening jump will remain his best, and it's a big jump though. He'll be happy with that, I think. Always want to go further. All these athletes want to go further, but he's got to be happy with 63.5 in the final, and not only that, really helps his overall out. We're going to Austria now, folks. Claudio Kostenberger from Austria. Next up, off the jump dock.
Great camera angles here, aren't they, from World Waterskiers and all the team here. I think there's about 6 or 8 of the team here, and cameras in the boat and all around the banks here, and amazing setting here. Lots of high-rise buildings in the distance, and of course the beautiful hotel here at the end of the lake. If you're thinking at home it looks nice, I can tell you here it looks even better. It's absolutely amazing. Incredible event the Malaysians have put on here in Putrajaya. As we wait for the Austrian Claudio Kostenberger to come in for his opening jump. He's in the red and white. No guessing where he's from, Glenn.
Absolutely.
Interesting to see. There are not many that see the athletes in the speed suits these days. I remember back in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was very, very fashionable indeed to be wearing the speed suit, but I'd probably say only around about half of the guys actually do these days, even maybe less. But the great Austrian here has got one on, the red and white one, and he'll come down to the northern end, turn around and come back in for jump number 1. Some great jumpers out from Austria over the years.
Personal best of 69.1 metres, 227 feet. Resides at the moment in Florida in the United States. Yalaha in Florida. I don't think I've been there, but
of course, Franz Oberleitner, one of the great
yeah,
jumpers from Austria, his coach. And Franzi, if you're listening and watching, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, wherever you are. This is your man on the water, Claudio Kostenberger, coming in from jump number 1. A leader is at 63.7 metres. What can he do?
Here we go. Claudio, jump number 1. Into the ramp he comes, plenty of speed. Oh, geez! Flies back on his heels. He manages to land on his skis. I thought he was going out the back for a second, Grant, but somehow he brings those skis back and manages to ride it away.
Yeah, let's look and see where he went wrong here, Glenn. Looks like a reasonable type of a setup. Maybe I think he ended up just being a little bit early, really. Now we'll have to wait and see here. But of course he's got 2 more jumps to come.
Yeah, 48 metres, 48.4 metres. I won't worry about that one.
Let's just have a look here off the second wake here. It seemed to, yeah, look at there, he's sitting right back. And you can see the result right there, right off the top on his heels.
That's great. Great shot and good effort to get back on his skis.
Yep, like a cat there he was to get that back under control. So we'll throw that one out the door. The first jump from Claudio Kostenberger from Austria. And he'll certainly know what he needs to do now. Glenn, it's fairly obvious that these guys need a jump well in excess of 60 metres to make it through to the final on Sunday.
That's right, 61 metres is still the mark to make the final.
Of course, it has been announced that men's and women's jump final will be now on Sunday.
Here he comes now, Claudio Kostenberger from Austria. Just 48 metres on jump 1. Let's see how he goes jump 2. Into the ramp he comes. Up he goes. That's better. Much better float. Pushes out over those skis. He's going to be, oh geez, a shade over 60. I don't know if it's quite going to be 61. It could be, but I'm not quite so sure. I think he might just be a fraction short of what he needs to be here to make the jump final.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he's going to need, Glenn. It's just not quite far enough, I don't think. But I will wait for the distance as we have a look at the replay here. Great camera angles coming out of Putrajaya here. Coming up 6:15 in the evening, edging all the way into the bottom. Little early there, just left of the bottom right corner, and a late lift off the top. Nice float, and we'll just wait and see exactly how far that distance was. 58.2, 58.2. So Claudia probably will certainly know now that he needs to put everything on the line here on this third and final jump, Glenn, if he's any chance of making it into the jump final on Sunday.
Absolutely. It's all in front of him now. 61 metres is the target. If he doesn't get 61 metres, then we're starting to look at, of course, Thibaut Deland will go in to that jump final. So Thibaut at the moment is the skier, watching on, looking on. Third and final now, Claudio Kostenberger. Does the Austrian Air Force fly today? So far it's coughed and spluttered away a little bit. In we go, hasn't got off the runway yet. Into the ramp he goes. No, he's missed his kick, I think. That's going to be a little over 50, and that will be it for Claudio Kostenberger. I cannot see him making the jump final now. Disappointment for Team Austria.
Yep, certainly hasn't been his day, Glenn. He's going to have a longest jump distance of 58.2, which is not going to be enough to move him through to the final. As we watch the replay there, on the heels again, up off the top. And a frustrating finish there for Claudio Kostenberger from Austria. Of course, that will move us on to now Adam Sadelmayer, former world overall champion. Great slalom skier. Of course, he was in the runoff today in slalom, and I think he made it through to the slalom final as well.
He did in the end.
Yep.
And of course, current world record holder in the overall. And we'd expect, if he can jump close to his best here, it won't be easy because conditions are maybe not quite as good as he would like on a perfect day, but if he can jump pretty big, you know, within 2 or 3 metres of his best, he's probably just about tied up the overall. So it's quite important. It'd be nice for him to kind of tie up the overall now, I guess, because he's tricked really well, he's slalom well, he's sort of in the box seat at the moment.
Right, Adam Sadelmayer from the Czech Republic coming in for jump number 1. As we said earlier, was in a runoff in slalom this afternoon and made it through.
Just trying to pull up his here we go. A few bugs in the internet here. We're going to pull up his profile here. Bit of a look at Adam Sadelmayer from the Czech Republic, of course. World number 1 ranked overall skier. Here we go, 32 years of age.
Longest jump distance of 66.7 metres.
Yeah, so if he gets sort of 64 metres, I reckon he's probably just about at the overall sort of. Although, of course, I can't quite say that because Thibaut, by the look of it, is going to make it into the jump final, so he will have a chance to increase his score. So Thibaut Deland's in now, of course, with a 60.9. The bubble now is 60.4. So Adam Sadelmayer here needs 60.5 to make this men's jump final.
Right, Adam Sadelmayer from the Czech Republic coming in for jump number 1. Edges into the bottom, up off the top, and a nice opening jump for Adam Sadelmayer. I'd say up around 58.59 metres, maybe 60.
Yeah, it could even be 60. He's going to be around that 60 metre mark. I think, remember, 60.5 he needs to get into the final. Really tidy jump.
Also wearing the speed suit, Glenn, great to see. Silver and black speed suit, edges all the way into the bottom here. Up off the top, nice opening jump. Wait for distance.
Well, it's 60.7. He's made it into the final. Adam Sadelmayer, he needed 60.5 and he's gone 60.7, so he will make his way into the men's jump final. He's still got 2 to come. Like I say, every 0.1 of a metre here on in increases his overall lead. Obviously, he's got another crack at the slalom, and he's got the slalom final coming up on Sunday, so he can hopefully increase his slalom score as well. And the overall, he's in the box seat, I believe, in the men's overall race, Adam Sedlmayr. And he opens up with a 60.7 metre jump.
So 8 jumpers now gone up over 60 metres, Glenn, in this 2019 World Waterski Championships. Tanguy Dayland from France hanging on back at 60.1. 60.7 for Adam Sedlmayr on his first jump. Coming in for his second now, pulls out nice and wide, right behind the Nautique Tournament towboat.
Big edge into the bottom of the ramp if he can boot this one, and he does. This looks like another big jump. I think he's going to have another half a metre here. He's increasing his distance slowly but surely. Is Adam Sedlmayr. Geez, he looks the goods out there. He's not pushing it super hard. He's not taking too many risks, but he's absolutely booting that jump ramp. Great lift, great airform.
Yeah, I think this is pretty big, Glenn. This is a great jump. Lots of pull right off the top, and he had some extra float right at the end there that he certainly didn't get on his first jump. So I'm really interested to see the distance here.
How far is that? How far is that to Putrajaya? Because Grant Barnett's called it. He thinks it's oh, and well done, Grant Barnett. You're right, 63 metres flat. Now, I thought it was a metre further, but it's way more than that. It's 2.5 metres further. 63 metres from Adam Sedlmayr. He's got one hand, I think, on the world's overall title at the moment.
Yep, great jumping from Adam Sedlmayr from the Czech Republic. Of course, coached here by Freddie Kruger as well, and Drew Ross and Alex Sedlmayr as well. So hello to Freddie. If you're watching, of course, couldn't join us here in Putrajaya for these World Championships, but he'd probably be watching on the live webcast from back in Florida. So hello to you, Freddie. We miss you. We hope we see you at a tournament soon. But here's your guy, Adam Sedlmayr, coming in. He's got a jump of 63 metres on the board on jump number 2. Can he get up over that on jump number 3?
I'm sure he can as he waits here, late as he possibly can. Makes his turn for the jump ramp. Nice slow turn. Good edge through the bottom of the ramp. He passes. Lets that one go. Probably a little disappointed himself at passing, but at the end of the day, he'd done the job. The pressure was off. He's got, of course, now he's got 3 finals, of course. Slalom, trick and jump final. It's a rare thing in the world of water skiing to make all 3 finals.
At 63 metres, Martin Coleman at 61, Tibor Dayland at 60.9.
Okay.
Yep.
None of them have actually been 70, but they're pretty close. So Emil Ritter from Santiago in Chile. Grown up skiing with, of course, the Mirandas. And he needs, what's 60.5 still, I think. It's Danilo Felchenko at the moment on the bubble. He's got 60.4, so anyone who goes further than that makes their way at this stage into the final. Here we go, pulls out wide towards the timing boys, of course. He goes past the green 700 football and almost makes his way to the 600 football or 180 metre buoy. Beautiful pull out, nice and balanced on his skis. Emil Ritter representing Chile into the ramp. Nice jump, missed his kick a little bit. Somewhere up in the high 50s, around 58 I think, opening jump, maybe 59. A little bit of a line drive, I think, Grant.
Yeah, nice opening jump, though, from Emil. Has a longest distance of 67.4 metres. We'll see what the opening distance is here. Certainly a nice opener. As we have a look at the replay. Right on the bottom corner there. A little off on his heels off the top.
Yeah.
That'll certainly cost him some distance there, so we'll wait and see.
58.4, 58.4. Good to get a score on the board, but something he's going to need to build on, because not enough, obviously, to make it through to the men's jump final. Great welcome to all the fans on site, of course, in the grandstand, enjoying this event. And also, of course, to everyone out there on the webcast around the world. We had a few issues with webcast this morning. Apologies for that. We had no internet here in the tower. We had a storm last night. Took a little while to get going, but we understand webcast is working well around the world. Depending on where you are, because the eastern seaboard of the United States, just waking up, putting the coffee on, watching the jumping. Here comes Emil Ritter now. Jump number 2. He had a 58.5 on jump 1. It's not enough. He needs 60.5 by our calculations here in commentary to make it through to the final.
All right,
Very
what's
relaxed.
he got? Emil Ritter from Chile, jump number 2. Edges all the way to the bottom, up off the top, and great jump.
There we go.
There we go. That'll certainly be up over 60.5 metres.
That is a ripper.
Nod of the head. He looks pretty happy.
I think that'll be around that 63 metre mark, I think, around that mark that we had from Adam Sedlmeyer. This is a beautiful jump. Up over his skis nicely. Good slow turn. Across the wakes he goes.
63.8 metres.
Wow.
So we have a new leader, ladies and gentlemen. 63.8 metres. Emil Ritter from Chile has just gone straight into the lead.
Yep, he's through with a 63.8. The first of the Chileans here today. Makes his way into the men's jump final. It's going to run last event, of course, Sunday afternoon here at Putrajaya 2019 IWWF World Waterski Championships. We're all pumped up here. It's Friday evening here at Putrajaya, of course. Coming up 6:30. Friday night in the big city as we look forward to a great weekend of water skiing. Hopefully the crowds will be in here over the weekend. World Championships. This magnificent city, absolute spectacle it is. One of the cleanest, friendliest places I've ever been, of course, Putrajaya. And here we go. Chilean Emil Ritter, jump number 3.
63.8 on his second. What can he do on his third and final jump? He is in the lead. Makes his turn now. Edges all, decides to let that one go as well, the same as Adam Sedlmeyer did. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our new leader from Chile, Emil Ritter, with 63.8 metres.
Yeah, well done. Through to the final. His biggest jump of the tournament so far, 63.8. We go next to another Chilean, of course, the defending world overall champion from 2017 in Paris. It is the superstar out of Santiago in Chile. It is Felipe Miranda.
Well, he'll take lots of confidence from seeing his fellow teammate, won't he, Glenn? 63.8. He's gone into the lead. And conditions are absolutely perfect out here right now. The sun's starting to set. Probably only around about half an hour of daylight left, but we will get through these last 6 or so jumpers before the sun does set. But conditions are absolutely perfect, and that's exactly what you want for your very best as well. For all of our athletes, they've been really great conditions over the last 3 or 4 days. Had a little bit of wind today through Series 2 and 1 of men's slalom, but many of the greats all the way through into the final. As we bring on Felipe Miranda, the current world overall champion, the second of 3 Chileans in today's Open Men's Series 1 jump preliminary round.
Absolutely. So Pepe Miranda now out on the water. He's just talking to his coach, just getting some advice as he goes back down past the point, of course, where a lot of the coaches are standing down there to the far end of the grandstand. As I said, defending champion in men's overall. He's been on the podium too before in men's jump at a world champs. Obviously he's never actually won the jump event, but I know he's been on the podium before. Very good 3-event skier. Jump is his best event though, and his personal best right around that 69 metre mark. The Nautique towboat makes its turn. Comes on the course. As Grant Barnett has been saying, the conditions are improving. The breeze is settling down. Here he comes. Felipe Miranda, Chile. Needs 60.5 to get into the men's jump final Sunday afternoon here at the World Champs. About to make his turn for the jump ramp. Jump number 1. Nice slow turn. He looks to be in good shape. Into the ramp he goes. Big kick up the top. Oh, he's flown. Great jump. That is easily the biggest jump of this tournament. I'm sure of it, Grant. Tell me I'm wrong. I think that's huge.
No, I think you're right, Glenn. I think that is the biggest jump of the competition so far. Our leader at 63.8. I think this is going to be our first jump up over 64 metres. We will wait for the distance. Let's have a look at this replay. Felipe Miranda from Chile, a brilliant opening jump.
65.2 metres, folks.
Wow.
That is an absolute barn burner here of an opening jump. Look at him go. Out over the skis, Pepe Miranda. You know what he's saying too? He's saying, don't forget about me in this overall contest. He hasn't tricked that well. He didn't slalom that well, but you know, he is probably, well, he is the best jumper of all the overall contenders, and he's spanking one out there. Jump number 1.
65.2 metres, 214 feet for Felipe Miranda. What an opening jump. He has flown into the lead from Emile Ritter, his fellow Chilean competitor, back at 63.8 metres, but that was an absolutely ideal first opening jump. Not quite sure whether he can go any further, Glenn. Really, that was magnificent. Perfect setup, an amazing lift off the top, great pull, sailing 65.2 metres.
Magnificent effort, within 4 metres of his personal best, so that's great jumping. Here he comes, Felipe Miranda. Out of Chile, of course, Santiago, Chile. Training this time of year, I'm sure, up there in Santa Rosa Beach, where they've got a house at Curry Picos' Waterski facility. Jump number 2, he lets that one go. That's the hard thing, I think. If you jump 65 on your first, it's you don't want to take too many risks, I guess. And the prelim on your second and third, you want the timing to be just perfect. And obviously, timing was just off a little bit there for Felipe. Yeah,
no doubt about it. He knows that that first jump is getting close to maxing out as far as where he's going to go today. So he doesn't want to do anything silly. He knows he's well and truly into the finals, and he's still got an opportunity in the overall event as well. But 65.2, that has shot him straight into the lead. He'll have one jump to come. So those in the stands, folks, put your hands together for our leader so far, Felipe Miranda from Chile. The Chilean Air Force, as you said, Glenn, are certainly out in force this afternoon. His fellow countryman, Emile Ritter, is in second place at 63.8. And then Louis Duplan Freeboard still hanging on in third place. He jumped 2 days ago in Series 3 men's jump. He went 63.7. That was a personal best for him. So 5 competitors to come after Felipe Miranda. We will have Rodrigo Miranda, his brother, straight after. So 3 Chilean jumpers in a row. Then we'll go into Taylor Garcia from Team USA, Igor Morozov from Russia, Jack Crichtley from Great Britain, and Ryan Dodd from Canada will be our final competitor in this preliminary round of Series 1 jump, as Felipe Miranda prepares to come in for jump number 3.
Here we go. He's open with a 65.2. See if he can't get a little bit more off this Putrajaya jump ramp. Makes his turn for the ramp. Good approach. Into the bottom he goes. He lets it go. Probably a little bit predictable, I think. But getting towards, you know, he's mature. He's been around quite a while. Pepe, a lot of miles under the clock. He's a professional jumper. He's got a wife and kids at home. He knows so that he's done everything on jump 1. He's just getting his eye on ready for the final, I think. Nothing to push. A younger guy you know, a 19, 20-year-old would have pushed the barrow a little bit there and tried to get a whopping big PB, but
yep, experience is the key there. As you said, Glenn, he knows he's through the final well and truly, 65.2. And brother, now Rodrigo just about to come out.
yep, so Rodrigo, of course, older brother of Pepe Miranda. See, look down the dock there, we've got Taylor Garcia heading down to the dock as well. Here we go, Rodrigo Miranda. He's seen as one of his best mates, ML Ritter, make the final. He's seen his younger brother, Pepe, make the final. Let's see if Rodrigo Miranda could get them through.
And just recapping the schedule, Glenn, for Saturday and Sunday. We will start out tomorrow at 9 a.m. local Kuala Lumpur time with the women's slalom final. We'll then go into the men's trick final starting at 11 a.m. At 12:30 we will have the prize giving of both of those events, the women's slalom final and men's trick final. At 1 p.m. we will have the conclusion of the women's prelim series 1. Of course, we did not conclude that yesterday due to the storm conditions that came through. So that will happen from 1 p.m. on Saturday. And then on Sunday at 9 a.m. we'll have the men's slalom final. 11 a.m. local time will be the women's trick final. Prize givings of those two finals will happen at 12:30. And then we'll move into the men's and women's jump final, starting out with the women's at 1 p.m. local time here, Kuala Lumpur. And then at 2:30 p.m. it will be the men's jump final. All right, Rodrigo Miranda coming in for jump number 1. His brother Felipe has got the score on the board at 65.2 metres. He is the leader. What can he do here on jump number 1? Edges all the way into the bottom. Oh, and on his heels off the top there. Not what he's looking for. Experienced jumper indeed is Rodrigo Miranda from Chile. He's got 2 more to come. We'll have a look at the replay here. Great pictures here from World Waterskiers over these last 3 or 4 days of competition. The live webcast, of course, going out all around the world. And good morning, good evening and good afternoon, wherever you're watching on. This is the 4th last competitor of the day. It's just gone past 6:30 p.m. local time. We've had a long day skiing here, starting out with men's slalom series 2 and 1. Some great skiing action this morning and this afternoon with the ladies' tricks, and of course we've had some great jumping here as well. Our leader is Felipe Miranda at 65.2. 41.4, he will not even want to know about that, Glenn.
He slipped out, didn't he? Sat back and didn't feel comfortable. Didn't feel like he wanted to boot that one, and fair enough, he just he's going to have to do it on jump 2 if he gets it together. 60.5 is the mark he's after. The current bubble is 60.4, held by Ukrainian athlete Danilo Filchenko.
All right, Rodrigo Miranda coming in for jump number 2, distance 41.4 on the first. As I said, he won't want to know anything about that. Powers in out nice and wide behind the Nautique tournament towboat. Can we get him up over 61 metres on this second jump? Powers into the bottom of the ramp, up off the top again, off the heels. And again, not what he's going to be looking for. So he's going to leave it down. That last jump,
3rd and final.
Glenn, 3rd and final, always a challenging.
How's Danilo Filchenko feeling right now? He will be watching on nervously.
Yep, he's got a score of 60.4 metres. Of course, we've got Taylor Garcia to come from Team USA, Igor Morozov from Russia, Jack Crichtley from Great Britain, and Ryan Dodd will be our final competitor. So 4 more after Rodrigo. And Danilo Filchenko is sitting on the bubble there at 60.4 metres.
So a bit of pressure on Rodrigo Miranda, but geez, he's a seasoned campaigner. I'm going to say, of course, with Freddie Kruger not making it here, he's probably the senior statesman of these top pro jumpers at this tournament. He's been around the traps. He skied his first world titles 1996, believe it or not, up in Canada. I think he was only about 13 years of age, making his way up there. The first time we saw the Miranda family at a world titles. So that is quite some time, 23 years ago, since he skied his first world titles. This is it, folks. Last roll of the dice. It's zero or hero time now for Rodrigo Miranda. He's got to get the score here. He's got to get more than 60.4. He needs 60.5 or better. Here he goes. He's leaving it to the last. Looks like a good turn to me. How's his timing? Looks all right. Big kick. Oh, no, he's missed his kick. Hand on the head. He needed to boot it and he couldn't. And that's it for Rodrigo Miranda. He's failed to make the men's jump final. Devastation for him. The head goes back. Let's watch the replay, Grant. But it's unfortunately, it's bad news for Rodrigo Miranda.
Yep, no doubt about it. He'd be very disappointed in that jump set, Glenn. He certainly knew what he needed to do here on the last, and he had a real crack at it, but just couldn't quite get the lift off the top. Great pull into the bottom. Looking great right there, but just off the heels again. And he knew straight away, hand up to the helmet, that was just not going to be enough. So disappointment there for Rodrigo Miranda.
So
as you say, though, he's been a great veteran over the years,
sensational
skier, and disappointing for him not to make it through to the men's jump final.
So we think that means that Danilo Felchenko will make his way into the final. Congratulations to the young man from Ukraine. Next up, we've got this young superstar, Taylor Garcia, representing the United States of America. Bronze medalist at the last Worlds in Paris. I remember that well. Bunch of world titles, of course, as a junior. A two-time under-17 world champion in jump. I think one-time winner of the under-21 title. Taylor Garcia, as he leaves the dock, put your hands together. Bit of a shout-out to his dad, Steve Garcia. He's not here on site. Hopefully you're watching the webcast, Steve. Understand you're doing a bit of work for change back there in the US. Bit of a lawyer, Steve, but he's got a bit of a trial on, I understand. So hopefully you're able to catch a bit of the webcast before you head into the courtroom. And here's Taylor Garcia. Cool, calm and collected, a young athlete. Needing now, so the cut's changed slightly. We'll look at it, still be over 60, but it's not 60.5 anymore. It is 60. It's actually Dorian Llewellyn now, so it's 60.4, and that bubble is with Dorian Llewellyn from Canada.
Yep, needs a jump over 60.4 does Taylor Garcia if he's any chance of going through to the final of the Opens men's jump. Of course, he is our third last competitor of the day. After Taylor, we'll have Igor Morozov from Russia, Jack Kreitley from Great Britain, and Ryan Dodd from Canada will round out proceedings here in Open Men's Series 1 jump as he comes in, Glenn, for jump number 1.
Yep, reasonably conservative on the first pull out. I guess the wind's died off a little bit though from the skiers we've been watching. So this looks not a bad spot here. Good turn. He's got good speed into the bottom. Up he goes. Missed his kick a little. Still a big jump. But he did miss his kick a little. There's a chance that it's far enough, though, even though he missed his kick. Maybe not quite. We'll wait and see.
I don't think so, Glenn. I don't think it's quite enough what he needs. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But we'll have a look at the replay here, the World Waterskiers replay. Taylor Garcia, jump number 1. Looks very smart indeed, doesn't he, in that speed suit, matching helmet. As he makes the turn, extends the arms out, lets the pull come on, edges all the way into the bottom. Left ski comes up, and yeah, just missed his lift there. And a distance through of 58.5. So 58.5 for Taylor Garcia on his first jump.
It's like an old Cold War novel, I reckon. We've got the American, the Russian, the Brit, and of course the Canadian. There's the 4 great countries of world jumping facing off here, trying to get the top dog status. And well, first of all, trying to get in the final, trying to get the top dog status into the final, the top seeding off the dock. Of course, we've had a big jump from Felipe Miranda at 65.2. That's our lead at the moment.
All right, Taylor Garcia from the United States, Team USA. Important jump score for them as well coming up. First jump, 58.5. It's not going to be enough. What can he do here on the second? Absolutely ideal conditions. A slight headwind just coming off the top left side of the ramp as he edges out nice and wide for jump number 2.
Here he goes. Big moment now, Taylor Garcia. He needs to find a big jump here to get into the final. Into the ramp he goes, plenty of speed. Big kick up the top. Oh, that is it. He has flown. Sensational jump. Maybe not quite as big as I thought it was going to be off the top, but I still think it's far enough, Grant. Looks to be somewhere around that 62, maybe 63 metre mark.
Yeah, he's pumped. I think you're right. I think up around 62.5, 63 metres. I don't think it's eclipsed Felipe Miranda at 65.2. But on the landing, the arm went up. He was pumped. He was happy. Let's have a look at the replay here on World Waterskiers. Powers into the bottom of the ramp here. Lots of lift off the top. Got his legs beautifully. And look at that float.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
I got super excited there. Thought it was going to be a massive jump. No, just not quite as far as I thought, but it is going to be enough to make the final, and he's happy, Taylor Garcia. 63.2 metres. Taylor Garcia through to the final.
Yep, that's enough. 63.2 metres. So congratulations to Taylor Garcia. He will be jumping on Sunday in the men's jump final here at the 2019 World Waterski Championships. Great team score also for the USA. So let's have a little bit of a recap of our leaderboard at the moment. 65.2 is our leader, Felipe Miranda. Emil Ritter at 63.8. 63.7 from Louis Duplan Fribourg. That rounds out our top 3 at this point in time. Taylor Garcia coming back in. Let's see if we can get him up over 63.2 metres.
Beautiful conditions at the moment here. Perfect little headwind for Taylor Garcia. 63.2 on a second. Can he go further? Into the ramp he goes. He's got a bit of speed. Another big kick off the top. Maybe not quite as far though. I think he maybe just missed the trick a little bit on his third jump. It's going to be about 61 and 62, I think. He's done the business, though. He's through to the final, which was the main aim of the game.
Yeah, great jumping from Taylor Garcia from the United States. We'll wait for the distance. 63.2 metres on the second. That'll be pretty close, I think, Glenn. 63.9. 63.9. So he will go into third position behind Emil Ritter from Chile. So the two Chileans out in the lead, 65.2 with Felipe Miranda. Emil Ritter at 63.8.
Oh, well done, Taylor. I didn't think it was going to be quite as far, but it actually is. It's 0.7 a metre further, 63.9 metres.
So in fact, yes, he will go into second place, I should say, behind Felipe Miranda. So great jumping from Taylor Garcia from the United States.
On the water now, we have the big Russian, Igor Morozov. Of course, very little known about this man. He likes to fly under the radar a little bit, but he is, of course, a 70-metre plus jumper. He is a rocket scientist. He's got a master's degree in physics as well. Trains mainly, of course, in Florida. From a great water skiing family, of course, the Morozovs. Born and raised in Moscow. Has spent a lot over the last few years in the warmer climes, of course, of the United States. Southern part of the United States.
All right, Igor Morozov coming in for jump number 1, the Russian. The only Russian in the jump field this afternoon. Chasing down the Chilean Felipe Miranda out in the lead at 65.2 metres. Let's see what he can do here on jump number 1.
He's a big, tall athlete. Solid pull out. Quite tall on his skis. He comes into the ramp. Nice opening jump. didn't get everything out of the ramp he wanted, and he probably could be a little bit later, but it's still a great jump. It's going to be right around that 60 metre mark. It could even be enough to make the final. Remember, 60.4 gets him through to the final. Dorian Llewellyn's the guy right now on the bobble with a 60.3. So we'll wait for the distance. It's going to be around that mark, I reckon, just a little over 60 metres possibly.
Well, right on the corner there, Glenn, wasn't he? Getting absolutely everything out of jump number 1, Igor Morozov from
So we've got a tie.
Russia, 60.3. So we've got a tie with Dorian Llewellyn so far. 60.3 on Igor's first jump.
Yeah, so if that finishes up being his biggest distance, so he potentially could end up with a run-off. We wouldn't know that until Jack Critchley and Ryan Dodd had jumped. But of course, the odds are it won't be his biggest distance. I've got a feeling he'll go a little further over the next couple of jumps.
Be some amazing pictures at the moment, I would think, Glenn, as the sun sets here, coming up to 10 to 7 in the evening here in Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya. A beautiful setting, conditions absolutely perfect. A slight head breeze just coming off the top left-hand corner of the ramp. Beautiful conditions. Igor coming in for his second jump now.
The Russian. He's got to go a little further. Jump number 2. Really tall stance, as I said, on those skis. Great style on the cut. Makes his turn. Into the ramp he goes. Does he go further? Up he goes. Big kick up the top. I think he does.
That's a great jump.
Big jump. Big jump, Putrajaya. How far is that? That is a magnificent jump. He's definitely through to the final.
Is it more than 65.2, Glenn? Felipe Miranda is in the lead at 65.2. That is a great jump. Let's look at the replay on World Waterskiers here. Powers into the bottom of the ramp, gets absolutely everything in that stretch right into the bottom right-hand corner, just makes it on. Huge lift off the top. Look at that lift. Wow. Absolutely floating through the air there. The bib flapping away, and let's wait for the distance.
65.6 metres, folks. We have a new leader. That is the biggest jump of these 2019 IWWF World Waterski Champs. He takes the lead, does the Russian, ahead of Pepe Miranda from Chile, who had a 65.2. That is an absolute ripper.
Absolutely great jumping from the Russian. He has flown into the lead. 2 jumpers to come. Jack Critchley from Great Britain, of course, Ryan Dodd from Canada. I can't wait for these last 2 guys, Glenn. This is going to be exciting as the sun sets here. 10 to 7 in the evening, Kuala Lumpur local time. We've got a new leader, Igor Morozov from Russia with 65.6 metres. That's 215 feet. Can he take it further? The big Russian, here he comes. Jump number 3.
Yeah, it looks like a good spot. He may have actually brought this down a little bit. He might be cutting a little later here. He's going to have a look. I reckon he's going to have a late cut here, and if it doesn't feel right, he'll let it go. But if it feels good, he'll have a big jump. Into the ramp he goes. Yeah. He kind of feels like he should have gone over. He's disappointed in himself. He brought it down, I think, probably a metre or 2. So it was a later cut, and he's thinking to himself right now, geez, I wish I had booted that one, because it could have been close to 70, but he didn't quite get it together.
Well, he's comfortably through the finals, Glenn, is Igor with 65.6, a new leader. And, of course, the cream really rising to the top here. Taylor Garcia, 63.9 just before him. Felipe Miranda, 65.2.
Great shot of him there. He's hurtling into that jump ramp, over 100 kilometres per hour. Makes that late decision to pass up, jumps the corner of the ramp. And Igor Morozov finishes off, though, with a 65.6. He leads this event. We're down to our final 2 now. Jack Critchley out of Great Britain. Spent a bit of time this summer with Kai Lead. I think Kai Lead will be watching at Ski Fluid there, be watching this jump set. Jack Critchley, the working class hero of professional men's jump. I think he spends about 5-6 months of the year as a roofer in England, Jack Critchley. One of those guys too. He's doing it for the redheads, the ginge. He's out there.
All right, Craig, Great Britain, get behind your man, Jack Crichtley here. Second last competitor of the day. As the sun sets here, as we move towards 7 p.m. in the evening, only around about 15 or 20 minutes of daylight left. Just enough to squeak in these last two competitors. Jack Crichtley from Great Britain and then Ryan Dodd. Of course, just recapping the schedule for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Women's Slalom Final. Kuala Lumpur local time will start, and then we'll have 11 a.m. Men's Trick Final. The prize giving of those two events will happen at 12:30. We'll then finish the conclusion of Women's Jump Prelim Series 1. Of course, we didn't get to conclude that yesterday due to the weather conditions. That will happen at 1 p.m. Kuala Lumpur local time on Saturday, and then move into Sunday with the Men's Slalom Final starting at 9 a.m. and then Women's Trick Final at 11 a.m. Prize givings for those two at 12:30, and the Women's Jump Final and Men's Jump Final will be back-to-back from 1 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. So amazing weekend's action coming up, Glenn.
Super exciting, and I'm really excited about this Friday night action now. This is Jack Critchley from Great Britain. Pulls it wide on the towboat. The roofer from England. Into the ramp he comes, plenty of speed. Misses his kick a bit. Still a good jump though. Geez, when he gets it all together, he'll go obviously well over the mark, but missed his kick a bit. Plenty of speed. I'm gonna say that could be 60 metres anyway. We'll wait and see. Remember, 60.4 gets him in to the final.
Will it be enough? Let's look at the replay as we wait for the distance. The athlete from Great Britain edging all the way into the bottom here. Arms stretched, missing his kick off the top. You can see there right off the heels. That'll cost him 2 or 3 metres in distance right there. Stand-up landing.
How far is that? That's what we want to know, because 58.8, so not quite enough.
No, not enough. He's going to need an extra 2 or 3 metres here, Glenn, if he's going to make it through to the final on Sunday. We've just had Candido, our chief judge, come up into the webcast area, hand us the schedule. I've just given that to you in any case. Nothing has changed in regards to that, but what a wonderful job all of our judges have done over the last 3 or 4 days of competition. Have not put a foot wrong. The conditions have been great. We have lots of personal bests over the last 3 or 4 days. We've got a Malaysian through to the first ever women's trick final here.
Absolutely.
Which was absolutely fantastic to see.
Here we go. Jack Critchley pulls out wide here. Hasn't done enough yet. He's had a 58 metre effort. He needs a 60.4. Up he goes. Misses his kick a bit. That's slightly further, but it's still not enough. The pressure goes right on him here. Well, I don't think it's enough. We'll wait and see. It is further, and it could be 60, but whether it's 60.4, which is what he needs,
I don't think so, Glenn.
His kick, is he?
No, it's just not enough. Just missing his lift off the top. And 59 metres is the distance, 59.0. So still not enough from the athlete from Great Britain.
Wow. This is a bit of an upset. Second to last off the dock. It's a seeded order, remember. You'd expect him to get into the jump final relatively easily, but it's never that easy, is it, of course, in world's jumping. The pressure's on. Jack Critchley makes his way down to turn. He's going to have one last opportunity here. I know his family, friends and family in England, and lots of his Waterski fans around the world will be watching closely. Willing Jack on here, trying to see him get into the final. If he fails to go more than 60.3, then Dorian Llewellyn makes his way into the jump final, which would be a great story in itself.
Yep, Dorian is just hanging on at 60.3 metres. I'm sure he hasn't left the side. He'll be watching somewhere as we bring in the athlete from Great Britain for his third and final jump. Can he get over 60.3 metres? We've still got Ryan Dodd to come. Here he is coming in for jump number 3.
Okay, big moment. No matter what, he's got to take this, no matter the timing, and he's got to boot it. Into the ramp he goes. Big kick off the top. There he goes. He flies.
Yep.
That'll be enough.
He's done it.
The fist goes up. Big pressure moment in this men's jump elimination round. Jack Critchley was under the pump here. He had to take this no matter what. He had to boot it no matter what, and he has stood and delivered.
Yeah, he's brought it down here, Glenn. There's no doubt about it. Beautiful setup from Jack.
So it's a later cut. It's better lift. It's going to be 63 or 64. 64.7. It's even further than I thought. Sensational stuff from Jack Critchley out of Great Britain. Look at him fly. Great shots there as he flies out over the front of those D3 jump skis. The fist goes up. What a great moment. He's through to the jump final. 64.7. That's going to slot him in third, I think.
Yep, straight into third position for Jack. 64.7. Great jump. Really left to his last. Not ideal, but an experienced jumper. Knew exactly what he needed to do and put one out there on his third and final jump of 64.7 metres. Comfortably now into the final. Another great score for Team GB as well, Glenn.
Great Britain.
Great team score for them.
Big moment though, folks. Here's the guy we've all wanted to see. The greatest jump skier the world has ever produced. The world record holder. He's been in excess of 75 metres, of course. The great man himself, Ryan Dodd out of Canada. Has not, of course, he only flew in, I think, yesterday. He's had no practice, no familiar. He's an ultimate professional. He's won't muck around, no single cuts, no taking it easy, Ryan Dodd. He'll be straight into it. He's having a look around. You look at the pro. He's looking at every last little ripple on the water. He's getting his eye in. He's thinking about it. Everything comes down, you know, you watch him, you follow him. Big follower of Ryan Dodd on Instagram and Facebook, and the workouts, you know, the diet, everything. It comes down to be a champion, absolute champion. And he is dialed in here, folks, for a massive jump here at Putrajaya.
Yeah, interesting to see how he handles this first one, Glenn, because as you said, he's only just flown in, has not been over the jump ramp as yet. But he knows the driver, Les Todd, behind the wheel of the mighty Ski Nautique. We bring him in from the northern end. The last competitor of the day, it'll be Ryan Dodd from Team Canada, coming in for jump number 1. Our leader is at 65.6 metres. Igor Morozov has that from Russia. Here he is, the great Canadian, coming in for his first jump.
Pretty early, actually, between the splits of 7 and the 6, which is kind of early. But let's see how he goes here. Conservative start, into the ramp he goes. Big kick off the top. Tidy opening jump. Ooh, right on the money, around that 61 metre mark. I think he's probably going to just scrape through the final. That was a practice jump, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just having a looky-see here, Glenn, and I think he's made it through the final with this one already.
But look how easy he took this. It's fairly early.
Ah,
really
three-quarter cut
turn.
right there for
Drives
Ryan
hard.
Dodd. Early as well. Little of a body crush as he come off the top.
60.9. So
Yep.
60.9, 200 feet, opening jump through to the final. Sensational stuff. So, unfortunately, Team Canada with Ryan Dodd eliminates Team Canada and Dorian Llewellyn. He can't help that. But Dorian Llewellyn will not make it into the jump final. He'll be last out. And Ryan Dodd will be through to the final with 60.9. He's got 2 jumps to come. Everything's going to, it's just perfect really, isn't it? Because we're going to get this done before the daylight runs out. The really top guys did get the good conditions, which I guess is what we want. It's a little hard on the Series 2 guys. I do feel for you guys, but at the end of the day, the top seeds got the best water, which is what we need here in a jump event.
Yeah, it's been a long day. Glenn started out this morning at 8 a.m. local time here in Kuala Lumpur with the men's slalom event, and we're still going at just after 7 p.m. in the evening with our last competitor in open men's jump. The preliminary round, of course, Ryan Dodd through to the final. Can he eclipse Igor Morozov from Russia, who's in the lead at 65.6? I think he can. Let's have a look here on jump number 2.
Here he is, the great man, Ryan Dodd. Good strong pull out on the Nautique towboat. He waits as late as he can. Makes his approach in the jump at the roar of the Nautique. Into the ramp he goes. Big kick off the top. That'll be further. Oh, that is a big jump. That's 65 metres easy, I reckon. Could even be 66 metres from Ryan Dodd. The cream rises to the top. No practice, no famil here at Putrajaya, but he just gets out there, drives hard into the ramp. Big kick off the top. And that is a sensational second jump from Ryan Dodd.
Yep, early too, Glenn. 65.9, 65.9. There is your leader, folks.
Takes the lead.
Takes the lead from Igor Morozov from Russia. 65.9 from the world record holder. He sails on into the final on Sunday.
One jump to come. You guys must be sick of my voice. I've been going since 5 to 8, so it's almost 12 hours. It's 11 hours, 15, 20 minutes of talking. I don't know who the head of the commentators union is, but I'm going to have to talk to him about sorting something out without a break. I think I've twice I've run down to the bathroom and I've had a 2-minute break both times. So, but geez, it's excited. I've still got the same energy I had at 8 o'clock this morning, because when you're watching the world's best water skiers, it's super exciting. Here we go. Ryan Dodd, third and final. Remember, course record, 69 metres, 69.2 or something from Freddie Kruger. Well, we see, Ryan Dodd does not like Freddie Kruger beating him, so he'll want to have the course record here at Putrajaya by the end of this weekend.
All right, here's Ryan Dodd coming in for jump number 3. He's got the lead at 65.9. Can he go over 66 metres? Can he eclipse Freddie Kruger's record here in Putrajaya? Edges all the way into the bottom, up off the top. I don't think so, Glenn. I think it'll probably be around about the same spot, 64, 65 metres, but a great set from Ryan Dodd. Hasn't been over the ramp here this weekend so far, as we look at the final replay of the day. For Ryan Dodd, 65.9 on the second. Didn't quite get the lift off the top as he did on the second jump. A little bit of a body crush there, and nice float, but I think you'll find that's going to be up around 63.5, 64 metres.
We'll get the final distance. We'll let you know, and then we will be signing off fairly shortly. Back at 9 a.m. tomorrow, as we said, Malaysian time, so an hour later with our start. 65.2, 65.2 from Ryan Dodd. 65.9 remains his best. So as you can see, the grandstand's emptying out now. Everybody's heading home. Thanks very much to all our hardworking officials. Thanks very much to our sponsors. We will see you back here 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for the women's slalom final.